Hello, everybody. We're back. We're back. Did you miss us? It was only, 30 minutes, if that, from the time that we're on now from the podcast. But anyway, I am Demetra K, and I am sitting here with Donovan, the recovering Democrat Saadiq, also known as the Black Yule Brennan. We ain't seen your bald head in a long time. Keep hope alive. And the purpose of the Demetra K Show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we are great people, but we can always strive to do better. I'd like to say a big giant thank you and welcome to YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. You are the other side of the conversation. Not only are you just viewers, but you're family, and we also share the link from time to time. All I ask is that if I have not seen you on here before, that you show me your face so I can make sure that there's no shenanigans involved. Also ask that you keep your commentary brief and respectful. And also, if you do not have anything pertinent to add to the conversation, wait until that time comes where you can add something to what it is we're talking about at the time. So today, of course, keeping in step with our political show, being that it is political season, we are going to talk about former President Donald Trump winning the Iowa caucus and the Democrats still denying the impact of the Black vote. Now, I came across something shortly before I came on here, and I was like, okay, that's interesting. So I'm going to show y'all, actually, it's a statement from Senator Bernie Sanders, and I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to allow Donovan to run away with it, as politics is really more so his thing. But in the meantime, who do we have on here? We have Miss B. How you doing? And Alvin, what's going on with you? You says, I can see Trump winning the presidential race in November, but I cannot see who will follow him after his 4 years in office is done. Any ideas? Good question. We'll get into that. And Miss Sweet Talks, how are you doing today? Mike, nice. Sooty Man, what's going on with you? And Miss Shirley, I hope all is well. And so, Donovan, before we get started, what say you?
I say welcome, welcome, welcome everybody to the show. As we always say before we start the show, if you have not done it yet, we could have this conversation on our own platform. Go out into the Google Play and the Apple Store, download the African Diaspora News Channel app, or sign up on the internet at AfricanDiasporaNews.org. Sign up, become a member. The easiest way to do it, and it's a lot cheaper, is to sign up for the year membership. That way you ain't got to worry about your credit card being, charged all the time. Just pay the money for the year. That's where you ain't got to worry about it, and you got to like shuffle your money around and stuff, because we don't know what the year's gonna bring, right? But we could be having this conversation on our own platform. So if you guys haven't done that, what we're talking about today, and we did this on the last show. Hello, Miss Sweet Talk and everybody out there. But we talked about it on the last show, which is very important. This is the kind of stuff in the African diaspora we could be talking about that they don't know we're talking about, because it is so important in regards to the Black vote and how this election affects us and what our strategy is in regards to what is going to happen by reading the tea leaves. But again, do us a favor, download that and become a member. And even if you don't become a member, you can still see great clips of Demetra K, Philip Scott, all the rest of the contributors that are there. And then if you so desire, if you look at that rolling scroll at the very bottom of us, right down there, you will see there's a lot of ways where you could contribute to the show and help produce the show in regards to keeping Demetra motivated to make these great videos and to go out and do this. And by the way, Demetra makes these videos. I know you guys want to give me the credit, because I used to do it when she was here in California, because I love production. I'm really not a camera person, but it is what it is. But Demetra does these videos. So this is all 100% her. So when you donate to those things down there, 100% of your contribution goes to the content creator, which is this woman over here. So Demetra, this is very important. This is my time of year. This is what I become the big expert on. And the Democrats are making a very, very, either they're woefully ignorant, or they're just making a very, very, very bad calculation in regards to politics and numbers. So we're going to get into it, and I believe some of you guys also know what I'm talking about and what I'm alleging. So we're going to get into it.
Yes, indeed. And hello, Mrs. Tiffany. How are you doing? And everybody else that came on here. Okay, so as you guys know, Iowa had its caucus. Now, Iowa typically is the first to have a caucus primary, basically where they decide who is going to represent each party. So, of course, Donald Trump is going up against other Republicans, Nikki Haley, Ron DeSantis, Vivek Ramaswamy, and I'm not even sure who else is in the race. But nevertheless, in Iowa, there was a Republican caucus, and Donald Trump bested everybody. He got 51% of the vote. The rest of them got like 19, 20. So it wasn't, butt whooping to say the least. And then the thumbnail, you can see where I have Trump. He has what says the Caucus, the caucus captain or something like that, where he basically won the caucus. And so I think it's very telling as to what people really want. Now, I saw somebody in the comment section say, isn't he facing a lot of charges? Yeah, like 91 of them, right? Still being tried and seeing if they're going to take the cases to court. And there's a whole lot of stuff. So, yeah, he is facing an uphill battle, which is very telling that people still want him at least to represent the Republicans. Now, this is what was said by that of Bernie Sanders. He is a Democrat. And I saw this on his Instagram pages that came on here. And he says, after last night's caucus results, we must confront the reality. That sounds like Bernie Sanders on that Donald Trump has an excellent chance of winning the presidency. Says if Democrats hope to remain in power, they must adopt a progressive agenda that the American people will vote for, not just rail against someone to vote against. That means taking on corporate greed, ending starvation wages, and making healthcare a human right. Now, as I read that, I was like, Bernie and your homies, y'all still not gonna, acknowledge what we as Black voters, not that we all vote. I don't vote for the Democrats. I haven't in a long time, but you're still not acknowledging the Black voter, because Bernie and his homies, for the most part, would not be his homies being Democrats. They would not be, I guess traditionally Bernie is not a Democrat. He's an independent, but he rocks with the Democrats. Okay. He says he's talking about the Democrats. So they're still not acknowledging the power of the Black vote. And the reason I say that is because, yeah, you're talking about corporate greed. Yeah, okay, that's a thing. Ending starvation wages. Yeah, that's a thing. And that kind of affects Black people as well, making healthcare a human right. But what about reparations? When I say what about reparations, I'm talking about reparations because the people that help the Democrats stay relevant and get into office, that's what we've asked for years, right? And a whole host of other things, hate crime bill, a real police reform, and anything else you can think of specifically for Black people. But they really will not just call a thing a thing. But the other thing is they knock on the doors of Black people all the time and want us to show up to vote for them, right? Now, I was thinking about this the other day when I was thinking about Angela Rye and Andrew Gillum and Tiffany Cross. They have a podcast, right, where they're talking about politics, this, that, and the other. And I've seen Charlemagne the Guy, because I guess it's his show. I've seen them make all the talk show rounds and this, that, and the other, talking about the Black vote, the Black vote. And I said, why don't they hone in on the white vote or the Asian vote or Hispanic vote? It's always, and I say they, I mean the Democrats. It's always Black people, Black people, Black people, all the Black vote. And it's like, how dare you really just assume that Black people are like, we have to vote for the Democrat. It's like, oh, what are we going to do about it? They're starting to leave, so we got to figure out what to do. And so I also want to add this before I give it to Donovan. Trump has an even better chance of regaining, because he lost it, right, the presidency, because there are a lot of Black people who are like, I'm voting for Trump. I don't care. I will not be forced into voting for the do-nothing Democrats. And so they're also not having that conversation, that Black people are going to help deliver the presidency for Donald Trump, because he doesn't need a lot. Guys got to remember, in 2016, he got 8% of the vote. And they're saying if the election was held now, he would get 8% of the Black vote, I should say. But if the election was held now, he would get anywhere between 20 and like 30% of the Black vote. That's more than enough of what he needs to push him over the top. Now, before I give it to Donovan, keep this in mind. Somebody said something about all those lawsuits. Even that is not enough to dissuade people from voting for Donald Trump. Now, I will concede Bernie Sanders' point is that you can't just say, oh, you know, Trump is bad, Trump is bad, Trump is bad, Trump is bad. What are you doing for the people you're asking them to vote? You can't just keep saying he's the boogeyman, because by now people aren't buying it. And obviously they're thinking Biden is worse. Okay. Biden is worse for a whole host of reasons. So, Donovan, what say you? And hello to everybody that came on here. I'll acknowledge you as soon as Donovan is done.
All right, you guys, welcome again. And
leave this up?
Huh? Yeah, you can leave it up.
Okay.
Yeah, welcome you guys. And again, I'm talking to you guys in the chat. This is one of the only shows that actually is interactive like that. We let you guys come in and co-host with us because that's what it's about. But I want to read this to you guys right now. 1 second. Biden announces plan to cancel some student loan balances under $12,000. The president says this action will particularly help community college borrowers, low income, and those struggling to repay their loans. All of a sudden, now he's going to do all this. But wait a minute. Didn't this have to go through Congress like it did last time, which took almost 1.5 years? All of a sudden, he has this power to get rid of student loan debt, and at $12,000 and below, he's willing to do it all of a sudden now. People, we are waking up and we see what we see. So I wanted to read that real quick because that just came out on the wire, that all of a sudden, like I said, for those of you guys that were like, well, yeah, I was hoping for this. Why didn't he do this in the beginning of his administration? If he had done this, and even Philip Scott said this, if he had done this earlier, you'd have black people voting for him. I wouldn't be mad at anybody that voted for Donald Trump because he forgave their student loan debt. All of a sudden, he has all this power. So here's what we're going to talk about. Last night, Donald Trump won the Iowa caucus with 51% of the vote. 51%, right? We know in America, white people are pretty much split 50-50 between the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. It takes the black vote to decide who the winner of any of these parties are. Now, let's use our math. Joe Biden barely won the election in critical states that put him over the top. He got 270 electoral, what was it, 276 electoral votes or whatever. It was almost the opposite of what Donald Trump got when he beat Hillary, right? What they're not taking, and you're going to see a lot of these Democratic pundits saying, oh, well, you know, hey, in the general election, and they're right, in the general election, in any normal sense of it, Trump cannot beat Biden in the general election. He can't do it. Because what the Democrats are doing right now is they are including the damn near 100% of the black vote in their count. They're assuming black people are going to continue to vote as we've always been voting in the Democratic Party. So, just like Demetra said, without them putting that number in there, they're not, you know, they're just totally delusional in their thought of black people voting Democrat. We're going to have no other choice, whatever. It's just like your boy Jimbo Clyburn. What did he say? I have no doubt black people will come out and defend democracy. No doubt, black people are going to save it. No doubt. Why would we save democracy when there's nothing in it for us? Why would we do that? And just like Demetra said, right now, in the low number of black people who are going to vote for Trump, you're at 22%. 22% at a low number. Between 22 and 30% of black people say they are voting for Trump, and other people are going to sit it out. So what does that mean, people? Donald Trump has more than a good chance of becoming president again. Now, I don't want to scare anybody, okay? And when you talk to people, you don't want to scare anybody. But I want you to tell people this. You've already survived 4 years of Donald Trump. You've already survived it. There's nothing to fear but fear itself. If Donald Trump comes back into office and goes on a retribution tour, guess who's going to get that heat? Maxine Waters, all of these people that were out there throwing his name under the bus and stuff. Most black people, we ain't got nothing to do with it. So we have nothing to worry about. So when you guys are watching your TV and stuff, and the left wing propaganda keeps telling you about, oh well, in the general election he's going to get smoked. That is not true. If you do the numbers, if 20% of black people on the low end are going to vote for Donald Trump, he's the next president of the United States.
Yes, indeed. And so I was just reading the comments on here. How you doing, Black America, and everybody else who came on here. M, how you doing? He says, I'm not mad at the Donald. And that's what they call him, right? The Donald. And Ashley says, you're not voting. So yeah, I think a lot of us, we're just like, and if you have voted for Biden in the past or whatever, a lot of people are like, I'm just not doing it. Biden and any other Democrat, whether it's the mayors or whatever, just not going to do it, because what have we as Black people gotten for that? Nothing. And I love it, because Black people are now start to learn our lesson. Like, yeah, they want something, they have to give us something, right? It has to be a give and take, but it hasn't been that relationship with us in the past. And so now we're just saying, I'd rather, if I'm not in love with Trump and I'm not in love with Biden either, so I'll just stay home. But the Democrats need Black people to show up. They do. Even though they, ignore us or, anything that we've been asking for, they still need us to show up. Case in point, as like I said, you're starting to see them bring out the lapdogs, right? The people, the talking heads. They want to come and shame Black people for not showing up. And, you got to get rid of Trump. And you can't believe you guys want Trump to come back in office. And it's like, but again, how did Black people get charged with that? How did that become our responsibility to get rid of Trump? Like I said, if you think about it, you don't see a show that's being put together and say, hey, white people, make sure you get out there and vote for the Democrats. Hey, Asians, make sure it's only Black people. We're losing the Black vote, or we got to make sure we tell them, and then again, y'all have heard the talking points of, you guys need a civic lesson. Or that's what I've been hearing a lot lately. I heard it the other day. This Joy Reid had Angela Rye and Charlemagne on the show. And then people were talking about civic lessons, and this, that, and the others. Like, so basically you're saying as Black people are so stupid that we cannot come to an idea or have a thought process about something on our own. We need y'all to give us the talking points. And if we don't take those talking points, or we start to have a free thought, then you're silly, because you're not listening, or you're not reading or learning about civics. But it's like, even if you don't know about civics, you should know enough about, if I'm, have the right to vote for who I want, and we are truly living in a democracy, then I should be able to vote the way I want. I should be able to vote without you in my ear or shaming me, because I'm not saying me, but whoever else wants to vote for Trump, because that's their right to do it. You know what I mean? But they're not shaming, as I said, white people, Asians, Hispanic. They're not shaming them for saying, hey, I'm voting for Trump. It's only Black people. How dare you? Well, he's racist, right? But it's like, again, and I'm not, defending Trump, but I'm saying, let's use some logic here. What has Trump done legislatively to Black people that Biden hasn't done long before Trump even entered into politics? Because remember, Biden has been in Washington for 50 plus years at this point. Trump has only been in Washington holding an office. Now, I'm sure he was lobbying somewhere here and there throughout his life, but politically speaking, we're having the power. He's only been in there 4 years. So how is it that Trump gets the bad guy moniker or the racist guy moniker, but Biden doesn't? So there's a lot of questions we really need to answer.
Yeah, I mean, again, and people are going to fear monger you in this, oh, you got to save democracy, whatever. Here's the thing, people, like I've been telling you guys on the show, when a president goes into his second term, if he gets a second term, he ain't got to do nothing that he promises. How many of you guys heard that Biden just now started bombing Yemen?
Yeah.
Just now started doing that. Democrat warhawks putting us once again trillions of dollars or billions of dollars to expand a war that we have no business or no interest to be in. Guess who's going to fight those wars? Your children. Just like I had to fight a war, whatever the deal is. They're going to put your children in there. Donald Trump and Hunter Biden and all these rich cat kids, they're not going. It's going to be the poor kids that are going to go, or the regular kids that are going to go. This is what the Democratic mantra is. It's to distract and keep telling us, hey, vote for us, vote for us. But the point about the second administration is, this administration, we didn't get nothing this administration. It's a wrap, people. It's a wrap. If you are hoping that little $12,000, that little symbolism that I just read, just broke the wire. It originally came out Friday, but notice here's the thing too. Why would they release information like that on Friday? Dimitri, you're a public relations person. Why is it that in politics, they release big information that people should know on Fridays?
Usually people, and it's not even just politics, but it's anybody who's trying to hide something, because they know Friday closing hours, 4:30, 5 o'clock. Most people are getting off work. They're preoccupied now with the weekend, and they've checked out. And so when you release it then, by that time, especially in the day and age of social media, 48 hours, Saturday and Sunday, other things have transpired. And so now we're on another news cycle and we're talking about other stuff.
Exactly. They really didn't want to announce that to get you guys out. But then on the campaign trail, they can go, oh no, we did this, we announced this, right? At this point, it's too late. It's too late. You would be okay, I'm going to give you guys my opinion. If Joe Biden wants to win a re-election and he says, we are going to issue you checks, I wouldn't vote for this man. Not when I get in office. We're not doing that. It has to be done before he gets into office. If he starts releasing checks or does something of significance specific to Black people, not this everybody stuff, I would be on this show telling you guys, go ahead. It's okay to go ahead and vote for Democrats. Go ahead and vote for Democrats. Now, remember, we're still in the primaries between the Republicans and the Democrats. Isn't it funny that the Democrats are going to come to us and tell us to save democracy, but yet we can't even have a primary to challenge or discuss Biden's first-term record, but they're talking about democracy when they're nothing but authoritarian oligarchs themselves. We got to read the tea leaves, people. It's to me, it's almost insane that what comes out of these people's mouths of talking about they're the party of the people. Where? Show me you're the party of the people. Why are you going to wait until you are almost booted your ass out of office before you want to give away $12,000 that before there's nothing I can do? It has to go through Congress, and then it goes through Congress, and it's got to go to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court's going to shoot it down. How all of a sudden did he get all this power now to wipe away $12,000? Do you see the games that they play with you and your emotions? This is a direct attack on Black people. And I just want to say this. We have now got to stop asking for reparations. We have to start demanding it. He's not giving us nothing right now. I guarantee you, when we get to the general election, watch what Donald Trump says in regards to Black people. He's going to give us something. He's going to say, what do you want? What do you want? Just to secure it. What do you want? It's going to be done. It's going to be done. So I'm glad you guys are waking up. And I'm going to tell you guys this real quick. You guys, the guys that are watching this show and helping co-host this show, it's people like you that are waking Black people up. And I want to thank you guys, because for years, Dimitri and I, we were called coons and this and that and that and this. And, again, I was born a Democrat, but now I'm in recovery. You guys, I see, are now in recovery. And we got to keep the pressure up, because they were laughing at us when we were sitting in the studios doing all this. How dare you talk against the Democratic Party, or that Aunt Maxine and all these people. But when we started exposing their records and showing you guys what was really going on, now everybody's waking up. Now maybe we can really get a check. We can get something for our vote, because that's what our ancestors actually died for. Not just to die so we can vote. Anybody can vote. It's to get something for it.
Mr. X, he says, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't Donald Trump help the funding of Jesse Jackson's presidential campaign? I'm not quite sure about that, but it's a known fact that
Donald
Trump,
he did.
Okay, so he did. But yeah, I was gonna say it's not a no. I mean, it's not a secret, rather, that Donald Trump was a staunch Democrat up until recently, right? And he's always said that I can run Republican and I will win. So we also got to remember too that Donald Trump is the ultimate salesman. And he knows how to sell people a dream, a nightmare, whatever you want to say, and have people fully buy in, as we can see. With the people that follow him, they're like, whatever he says, that's what it is. And so yeah, was a Democrat for all of his life up until recently. So with that, let's see. And Psyop, how you doing? Says this is not Africa, okay. And OG, how you doing? Says even my 73-year-old mom is tired of the Democrats now, which is good, right? We're starting to see people wake up. And people say, yeah, I'm good. I've been doing that for my whole life. Oh, happy birthday, Jesse. Hope you're having a great day. Yeah, a lot of people who, are in that age group, the baby boomers, if you will, saying, yeah, I've done that, but I'm not going to do it no more because for why? My people have not gotten anything for it. And again, these Democrats are blatantly slapping Black people in the face. Like, I'm not going to do nothing for y'all, but y'all better show up to the polls for us because we still need you. We just ain't going to do nothing for you,
I got a question for you, Demetria. What's going to happen to all these bootlicks that have been out here? Your Simone Sanders, Mamie Sanders, linebacker, a Hall of Fame linebacker for the Democratic Party. What's going to happen to people like her moving forward?
Simone Sanders?
Simone Sanders, your Angela Rye, these people that your Roly-Poly Martins, these people that are out there that jump out there and spill this BS. If Donald Trump wins, what do you think is going to happen to people like this in the future? As Black people have now woken up, where are they in our community? Where are they going to sit in our community?
Well, I mean, I think they're going to sit in our community where they need to be. And that's people really seeing what they were in it for. They weren't in it for the love of Black people. They weren't in love for their Black ass. And that's usually kind of what it is. It's for me, right? I'm getting the chat, the butter biscuits or whatever. I'm getting this for me, but I'm going to pretend it's for my people, because if you're doing something for your people, you don't do the things that you see the talking heads like your Rolands, your Joys, your Angelas, and all of them, Mark Lamont Hills, all of them. You don't do the things that you're doing if you're really for your people. You tell the truth. You tell the whole truth. Like, it's not a secret that Roland Martin, yeah, he's very smart, but he's not talking about what's going on in Chicago with Black people and the immigrants. He's not even giving it any conversation at all. It's like he's just glossing over it because he knows that his audience is not going to press him on it. Now, for what I understand, some people have gotten in this comment section like, yo, scratch all of that. What about what's going on with the migrants and Black people? Still doesn't sound like he's, really giving it a conversation. But they'll go down in history like a lot of people who have sold their people out for a couple of peanuts. They'll go down as that step and fetch it.
Has Omarosa found her people yet in her redemption tour?
Have we found Omarosa? Because where has she been? Is she still with us? Because we know that she was the one that infamously put her iPhone on the table upside down as she was in a high-level meeting with the Trump administration. And she's talking about, I got all these secrets. It's like, girl, is you crazy? The people be, they be dealing with people like, I don't know. Is Omarosa still with us? I don't know. She may not be. JJ, how are you doing? It says Black politicians need to be replaced with people who actually support Black Americans. Yeah, and that's, I know it's an uncomfortable conversation, but it doesn't always have to be Black people because it's not always us that have our best interest at heart. They'll pretend. Tanaya, how you doing? You says, hey, Demetria and Donovan. Donovan hasn't done nothing substantial for Black people. Both candidates are, I think you meant Donald. Is that what you meant?
Yeah.
Both candidates are horrible for Black people. Got you. And welcome. Let's see who else came on here. Rose Brown, how you doing? Says, I love the show and we love you too. Let's see. And RR, he says, and how you doing, by the way? RR Timing says Latinos will have our way with FBA, Civil War. And I'm not quite sure what that means exactly. But Omarosa, she's missing in action. I don't know. And JD says, no, Roland ain't that smart. I mean, he's smart because he has books. And, I don't want to begrudge the man of his knowledge. He's very knowledgeable, but you can be knowledgeable and be deceptive as well. Because if you're very knowledgeable, and I believe that Roland Martin is knowledgeable, but why aren't you telling the whole story? You know what I mean? Yeah, the Democrats have done something via the infrastructural bill and this, that, and the other. But what about specifically for Black people, the most loyal group of voters? What about them? Roland, why don't you say, hey, the Democrats, now I understand he's kind of maybe tried to give it a conversation like, oh, the Democrats need to do a little bit more for Black people. But if you have your the direct line to them, why don't you say that to them? I can't keep showing up talking in favor of y'all, the Democrats, if y'all not helping Black people, because after a while, my audience is going to turn on me. They're going to know, how come I'm not telling the whole story? Because listen, but from a Roland Martin standpoint and Angela Rye and the rest of them, again, they assume that their audience is stupid. See, I'm smart enough to know that you should never underestimate people, because a lot of times when people are content creators and they're on this side of the screen, they think, oh, I know more than my audience. And so they pump all this propaganda and rhetoric towards you, and how dare you question them. But it's very silly to assume that you got an audience of dumb people who just believe in anything you say. But with Roland, he's like, I'm gonna talk about things that are important, but I'm not going to talk about the things that are directly important to my audience, like the Democrats bringing over all the migrants that are potentially replacing Black people and Black people's issues not being met. See, he's not talking about that. Or, as far as I know, Angela Ryan arrested them, but they want to continue to shame Black people into, because we don't want to continue voting for more of nothing.
Well, can I ask you this question? I think these are questions that need to be asked. A second Donald Trump administration, what do you think is going to happen, in your opinion?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think anything other than what he did in his first administration is going to happen. Will there be an insurrection? I don't know. You know what I mean? But I think we as Black people have to really start being smart and putting our thinking caps on. What happened to Donald Trump under Donald Trump's administration that was adverse to Black people that we haven't been experiencing? Did he do something? I know a lot of people say, oh, well, the racists felt emboldened and they came out the closet. Good. You want them to come out the closet. Why do you want to be at the local Denny's or what's out here, a Waffle House, and have a racist serving you waffles? Don't you want to know who your local racists are, if that's indeed what Trump did? Don't you want to know if you want them to be in the closet and, doing something esoteric to your food because they feel like they got to hide in the closet? But so, again, what has he done that Biden hasn't done? Answer me this. Anybody who is, against Trump, and that's your right, and for Biden, how many Black people has Trump locked up? And how many has Biden locked up? Or even how many has Trump had the power to lock up? And how many has Biden had the power to lock up? You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to really starting there and start. Because see, one thing about people, especially if you understand marketing and advertising, that is mostly an appeal to emotions. So when you get to people emotionally, it's like when you go in there buy a new car, they don't say, there's a car over there, go check it out, let me know if you like it. I'll be over here sipping my coffee. They say, hey, what brings you into Mercedes, car dealership? Oh, I think I need a new car. Oh, yeah. What's your favorite color? Well, what about the Mercedes? Oh, let me show you one. Smell the leather. Can you just see yourself in this car? You and the missus on a Sunday afternoon. So they get you tied in emotionally, right? And they make it hard for you to say no. But that's what they do as far as Black people in voting. They get us tied in emotionally. Oh, God, you're going to be back on the plantation if you don't get Biden back in the office. And you know what I'm saying? They get to us emotionally. But that's how we are as Black people. We are emotionally driven instead of, not all of us, but a lot of us, instead of being logical, we are emotional.
And also, as a follow-up to that, a lot of people say, the baby boomers, and a lot of us that have parents that are baby boomers, they're still going to vote for the Democratic Party no matter what, because that's what they're trained to do. But a lot of them are switching. Like I said, I can't say everybody, because we've got some, that are on the show that watch us and guide us and give us great insight to that generation and their knowledge. So we got to give them their things. But if Biden does or Trump does come back into office and those baby boomers are going to vote regardless, how do you think that is going to affect Black families within our dynamic, within our so-called communities, when you have this group, the older group that is predominantly, Democratic no matter what, vote blue no matter who, versus people that are saying, hey, we ain't got a pot to piss in nor a window to throw it out of? Do you think that's going to cause even a bigger schism between the generations?
So I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
Yeah, between the baby boomers, most baby boomers are going to vote Democratic no matter what.
Right.
A lot of us are waking up and doing all that. How much of a schism do you think that's going to cause within families within the so-called Black community?
I think it's going to cause. I think it'll cause somewhat of a schism, because there are just some people who are sold on, not even if it was Trump, even if it was a Republican, right? Oh, the Republicans this, the Republicans that, and it's like, well, how do you know? Because I asked that question one time on when we was on the war zone. Black people talking about, oh, we need to vote for the Democrats. Oh, we can't vote for a Republican. It's like, well, how do you know that the Republican is not better if you don't give him or her a chance? Because you keep the same old person in office that's not doing anything for Black people. So the point that I'm making to that is, a lot of the people that's going to cause a schism, they don't know. They only know what they've been doing for God knows how long. So they can't imagine going outside of that. So here you come, because you've been educated, you learned something new, and you try to introduce the new knowledge to them. And it's like, oh, no, you chicken. We don't vote Republican. Blah, 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 blah. And it's like, so are you saying that from an emotional space, or are you making that decision from a logical space? Now, when you ask somebody that, maybe they'll think about it and say, oh, yeah, there's really no logical basis in what I'm saying. Like, what is logical about voting blue no matter who? Where's the logic in that? That sounds like all emotions. There's a lot of things that can be blue. Do you really want to vote for it? So when is it going to cause a schism? Yeah, especially with people who are not receptive to new knowledge. That will cause a schism. So absolutely. Let me skip down a little bit to catch up. Hello to everybody who's come on here. Facts Not Feelings. You say, I made good money under Trump presidency. A lot of people, especially a lot of Black people, are saying that. But, you got these talking heads are saying, well, that's not true. But how you going to tell me? I look at my bank account and I could tell you that I did, but they'll tell you that's not the case. So I guess you're supposed to go along with what they said because it's emotional, right? William, you say Trump, tons of racial rhetoric, illegals on the run, support for businesses, comedy from the Republican pundits, firing of the left pundits, war stop. Trump brings uncertainty and fear. And so you're saying, so I'm not sure if you're being facetious or what, but you said tons of racial rhetoric. Biden has a lot of racial rhetoric. He got a lot of racial rhetoric, including the segregationists, big time staunch segregationists are my mentors. Well, somebody your mentor, aren't they teaching you something?
Sure, and isn't it the only group between these two groups of a so-called democracy? A democracy is supposed to have many different parties, but we only got two here that work together, by the way. The Democrats are the only ones that use race and fear baiting in their campaigning. If it's a Black candidate, oh, that person's racist, or they're this, or they said this, or they said that. I've never heard a Republican, and I'm not a Republican, again, you guys know, talk about like race as a problem in any of their campaigns. And all the political things that I've done, I've never heard a Republican talk about race in their campaigning.
Yeah, the average logical thinker, how you doing, by the way? He says, I didn't think politics could divide Black people until one day one of my friends stated he won't deal with anyone who was a Trump supporter. I keep my mouth closed from now on. And the other thing is, why? See, because I want my friends to have their own train of thought. Now, if it's too left field, then yeah, I probably ain't gonna mess with you much. But I don't want you to think like me.
Demetra gives me a pass, by the way, you guys. That's why. So I get a waiver when dealing with Demetra.
Yeah, for being an idiot sometimes. I'm just playing. But yeah, I mean, to me, that's boring. Do you like red? Am I going to be mad at me if I don't? Well, yeah, I like red too. I won't, because differing of opinion, I think, adds a lot of spice to life. But I wouldn't even hang out with nobody like that. Well, if you're a Trump supporter, we can't be friends. Well, bye, sucker. I don't want to be your friend either, because but you support the party that's talking about democracy. Democracy is in danger, but you gonna rob me of mine because I like a candidate that you don't like. You might not want to be friends with that person. I don't know. And Wild Williams, how you doing? Where have you been? You've been missing in action. Who else is on here? And I love to read all y'all comments, but I see y'all on here thick tonight. Let's see who else came on here. Rock, how you doing? Says, I'm a baby boomer and I show my family who is a baby boomer your show, Philip Scott, and they still fight with me. Go figure. Well, some people, they're going to get the information slow. Some people aren't going to be receptive to new information because, as I say, and I'm not saying to be disrespectful, some people are old dogs. Old dogs, is hard to teach them new tricks. Now, I'm not saying they're a dog because they're bad people. I'm saying that, as far as an analogy, they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. And some people want to be that old dogs. I don't want to learn nothing new. I don't want to I don't want to try a new way of eating chicken. Right. I'm gonna stick out my arm. I don't want to try a new way of eating chicken. I just want to eat fried chicken. I don't want to eat baked chicken. I don't want to eat broiled chicken. I don't want to eat just, you know what I'm saying? So sometimes, I don't know, I'm referencing Dr. Seuss a lot, but one of my favorite books and, tales is Green Eggs and Ham. Sam, or whoever it was, Sam was trying to get them to eat the green eggs and ham or whatever. He's like, I don't want to do it. I don't. And it's like, it's good. You got to try it. Oh my God. So he spent the whole time trying to get him to try it. And finally he tries it. And he's like, oh, I do like this. So that's the case with a lot of people when it comes to information. Just think about it. Just try something new. It might change your life, but some people are that old dog and they refuse to do it. They refuse to eat the green eggs and ham because they're green, So, but keep talking to them. They'll come around. Carmen, how you doing? He says, I have issues with friends that totally look over with Biden not doing only to focus on Trump. If anything, they both got issues. Yes, at least that's fair. They both have issues, right? Brother Samuel, how you doing? I hope you're staying warm. He says, greetings, D&D. Interesting. I've heard the minister say blue is a color of deceit. He said the sky looks blue because of the ether rather, but go chase it and you'll never find it. That is a very good point. Is it really blue?
It's just a reflection.
Mm-hmm. Let's see who else came on here. I would love to read all your comments. Black America says that's the reason people can't get together. And I'm sorry, what is the reason? That's why I'm trying to keep up with these comments. Patricia, he says some boomers are just set in their emotions when voting Democrats. Well, it's boomers and there's other people as well. There's a lot of younger people. Listen, I got a lot of younger people in my family who are not boomers, and you can't tell them nothing. It's I'm gonna vote blue. No matter who. I don't care what's in the blue. I'm going to stick my arm out and I'm going to take the blue. You know what I mean? It's like,
if I got to live in this shack, no, don't worry about it. You got to take my kids from me. Don't worry about it. If I got to delete my kids, I'm not worried about it. No conscious thought. And it's not your fault because you're raised a certain way. We were all raised, predominantly, most Black people were raised to be Democrats. I was one of them. I really sat there one day, and I think it was during the Clinton years. Because, I was like 23 when Clinton came in the office. And I said, this guy's offering me nothing. Why do I keep voting for this party that doesn't show me anything? Oh, that's the party of the people. Where? Every time the Republicans want to cut something, who goes right along with them? The Democrats. So what's the difference?
Yeah, average logical thinker says the young kids are just being followers. But you got to remember, too, they've been indoctrinated by their family. Oh, we Democrats. And I know, certain other families, like white families, they're like, oh, we're staunch Republicans or whatever the case is. But they don't vote as a monolith like Black people are supposed to, or they tell us we're supposed to. But the younger people, they're being inculcated and influenced by the family. Oh, we're Democrats, just like, oh, we Christians, we don't hang out with the Muslims, whatever, right? We Democrats around here, and but they never say why we're Democrats. We're just because we've always voted that way. Your mama, your granddaddy, their granddaddy, and we've always done it. Why? Why have we always done it? It's just the way it is. Don't ask me why. You just do it. But I think if you're advocating for somebody to do something, you should at least be able to tell them why. We're doing it because the Democrats have done A, B, C, and D for Black people, and this is why. And they're always, because like you said, Donovan, you talk about the Democrats are the party of the people. Well, the party of or for means pro, right? That means you do something for somebody. You know what I mean? What have they done specifically for Black people, to the point that we go and we show up to the booth every election season and we vote all down ballot? I don't care if it got a D behind their name, they were a Democrat, you just vote for it. It's like, really? Do you know that Democrat judge has locked up 97% of Black people that's come before them? Do you know that? No, I didn't know that. They were Democrats, so I was just, oh yeah, so what you did was you helped elect a judge that is adverse to Black people. A judge and that's the case in where we come from, Riverside County, California. They have a high rate of convicting Black people. But people don't know a lot of those positions, you vote for those. But we focus more on the federal than we do on the local level. And then your homeboy Jimbo or your homegirl gets sent to up the river for something that Sally and Bob wasn't going to get sent up the river for. But you voted for a racist judge simply because they had a D behind their name.
Yeah, and again, Vice President Kamala Harris, rather than listening to the Supreme Court of California to release nonviolent prisoners, what did she do, Demetra? She kept them in there because they are mostly firefighters and they work in the firefighting industry. So the rich white people won't have anybody to fight against the fires for their $1 billion homes and stuff like that. She willingly defied the Supreme Court to keep people incarcerated when they told her to release them. Her record on Black and brown imprisonment in general, conviction rates in general, much less Black and brown men. She was even harder on the single mothers. So, we really got to look at the symbolism that we're given and look at the people that they pick to be our leaders or our so-called servants. Why would you pick a woman like Kamala Harris to be the number 2 position in the United States, and she only served one, not even a full term as a senator in the state, and she was overwhelmingly rejected by her own people of color? She didn't even make it to the California primary because she would have been so damn embarrassed that she would have been rejected. But they appointed her to be the vice president. I mean, all of this stuff is just real. And people are like, yeah, what's going on here?
Yeah, and Carmen says politics and religion is a choice most children are not given to make for themselves, like their names. At least they're taught that, right? They've been taught that since they can vote, that this is how we vote. You go in there and you vote Democrat. And, I don't know, most people are 18 unless they're really involved in politics. They're not really interested in it, but they're going to do what they're told to do, right? And so you talk to a lot of people, they'll tell you, well, I've been voting this way because my family's been voting this way. I didn't really even get a choice to say whether I wanted to do it or not. It was just my mama, she's very more convincing, or my daddy or whoever. And so they just been doing it, like you said, and like religion as well. Let somebody talk about, well, I know I've been baptized and born in, the Christianity, but I kind of want to explore. Or how about this? I took a philosophy class or something like that, and I learned, how do you know? So I kind of want to explore spirituality on my own. Oh, you didn't, you just blasphemy. You must be an atheist. I didn't say that. I said I wanted to explore religion on my own, but they hear you're denouncing God and everything else, and they call you an atheist. It's like, I didn't say that. I just want to see if any of the stuff that I've learned all my life lines up with what I have now learned. Can I, make the best decision for me? And then they want to, label you a heretic or something like that for really just asking. But then you have to ask yourself, mom, dad, whoever, what is it about me thinking for myself don't you like? Because that's what it is. At the end of the day, you're giving me pushback because I kind of want to think for myself now, So let's see here. Do y'all want me to share the link? In NCR 10, how you doing? It says we have what have the they done specifically for Black people? What can anybody do specifically for a race of people? Well, I'm glad you asked that. I'm put this up here because they do things specifically for everybody else. But when it comes to Black people, it's like, well, what can they do for y'all? They not the party of just Black people. They got to help everybody else. But it's like when it comes to the Asians, Hispanics, Jewish people or whoever, nobody ever gives that pushback. When it comes to Black people, well, can't just be the president of Black people, or they can't just help Black people, but they just help everybody else. But when it comes to helping just Black people, there's a million excuses as to why it can't be done. And guess what? We foolish enough to say, well, you do got a point, instead of bringing logic into it. Well, if they can help everybody else, why can't they help us? It's not that they can't, they don't want to. It's a big difference. Black America, he says, so Ms. D and Donovan, they have to do something for Black people and not the American people. I'm glad I said what I said before I read your comment. So I hope that helps. Stephen, how you doing? It says, I'm voting Trump because I want to see him stick it to the illegals. Okay. Well, yeah, he said that as well. It's going to be the biggest deportation in history once he gets into office.
Yeah, and here's another thing. I want you guys to do not fall into the misandry and the racism of blaming the migrants for being here. They wouldn't come here if it wasn't for the Democratic policy. See, so yeah, I'm mad at them too, but I'm from California. We've been dealing with this for 60 years, so it's no big deal here in California. But a lot of us, what the Democratic Party is trying to do subconsciously to you guys, they're trying to get you guys angry at migrants who wouldn't be here if it wasn't for a Democratic policy. So you need to keep your anger, in my opinion, on the Democratic Party, because this is a direct attack and an invasion of the United States on Black people.
And Shirley, your comment is very telling. I've been voting for 50 years for the Democrats, not this time. And so they're not accounting for voters like Miss Shirley. They're not, it's not just the younger people. It is a lot in the baby boomers and a whole host of people, Black people, just like, okay, I get it now. We are really, truly disenfranchised. And so I'm not going to continue to vote for that. So absolutely. And that's your right to do it, because I'm sure somebody's going to try to shame you into, how could you? That's your right to make a different decision. You're not beholden or married to the Democratic Party. It's your right to vote for whoever you want to vote for. So, good for you for making that choice the way you want to choose. And NCR, he says, name one thing they specifically done for those races. Well, what did the Asians get? I'll let you answer it. What have the Asians gotten specifically? What have Hispanics gotten specifically? What has the Jewish community gotten specifically? And I'll raise you another one. What has the Afghans gotten specifically? What has the Ukrainians gotten specifically? I'll let you answer that. Always personal. How you doing? It says, voter for the lesser two evils. You're still voting for evil. Yeah, but that's what people ask you to do. Well, you got to vote for the lesser two evils. Like, well, if you were being logical and not just speaking out your mouth, you would know that if you line up the accomplishments or lack thereof of either Trump or Biden, you would have to come up that Trump is the lesser of two evils, especially when it comes to Black people. But people won't do that. It sounds cute in theory, but when you actually do the math and line it up, then it doesn't. It's not so cute. And so people don't want to have that conversation. Valerie, if I didn't already, how you doing? It says, if I understand correctly, Donovan said that Kamala Harris defied the courts and held people as captives because their firefighting skills, and that is 100% absolutely right. There were inmates who were well past to get out, but she says, we need the labor. We need the labor. So she advocated for keeping those people in there. There was even a man, he wasn't even Black, he was a white man who filed his paperwork moments too late or something like that. She said, oh, well, it's too late. Now, he's supposed to have been out, right? And it sounds like, he was in there erroneously. But she said, because he didn't file his paperwork on time, too bad, so sad. Now, he's out. Now, I tell y'all about Kevin Cooper all the time. Kevin Cooper is a Black man in the 80s, escaped from prison, and a murder took place in Chino Hills, and they thought that he did it, but there's a copious amount of evidence saying that he did not do it. But Kamala Harris was all right with Kevin Cooper going to the gas chamber, whatever it is, without really making sure he did it. And it was Diane Feinstein, Barbara Boxer, and Jerry Brown, the then governor, a couple other people was like, nah, let's hear this man out. Let's run the DNA and all of that. to make sure that we're going to execute a guilty man. Now, of course, Gavin Newsom came into office and he did a moratorium on the death penalty, so nobody's getting murdered, if you will, in the death chambers. But Kamala Harris was more than willing to allow Kevin Cooper to be executed. He got a stay of execution like at the last minute because they were like, nah, we're going to wait and see. But not Kamala. So I know y'all think Kamala, because she could, got a mean two-step with her chucks and pearls on and all of that. But ask people who know about Kamala. I'm a Californian. Don's from California. Californians didn't see Kamala as fit to be president, which is partially why her campaign tanked. So y'all better, start doing some research. Stop believing all this stuff people tell you. As we say, Sheree, we've interviewed her before, and she was actually a Black woman that was locked up under her truancy law in Sacramento there. San Francisco, I think it was. The truancy law that Kamala made as she was a local DA. And she said, oh, nobody was actually harmed under that policy. And we interviewed a woman, said, yeah, the pictures, news footage, and everything of her being handcuffed and perp walked out her house at like 6-something in the morning behind her daughter being truant. And her daughter had a lot of health issues that could have been easily verified with the office, but they didn't do that. She took that as a photo op to perp walk this Black woman in her pajamas to jail. So we ain't got to lie on Kamala.
Yep. Yes, indeed. And you got to remember, politically, this is a Democratic state. If some of you guys that have visited California and you guys go back home and you talk bad about California, because you've seen what Democratic policies do to beautiful states like California and stuff like that. I mean, Republicans have no chance or no say-so of policy here. This is all Democratic, and the Democratic policies have run this state into the ground. We got high taxes and it's crazy. How many of you guys have forgotten? We've been asking and demanding reparations. We've been demanding a crime bill. We've been demanding protection. But they always say, how are you going to pay for it? But then California, Gavin Newsom just gave universal health care to people who are here illegally against our laws. How are we going to pay for that? Where's all this money coming from? Make it make sense. And you got to remember, politically, California is very vital to the Democratic machine. There's 50. How many political votes are here? 55.
Yeah, it's one of the largest. Yeah, 55.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. So when Kamala came into the primary, when she was in the primary, the Democratic primary, if she couldn't even get her own state, that's significant votes. I mean, without California, you are not a viable candidate as a Democrat.
Absolutely. Carrie says, I'm still trying to figure out how they have the Ukrainian Social Security. I gave this the Ukrainian Social Security. That's what I'm saying. So whoever it was, I can't remember at this moment, says, what have they done for other people specifically? Y'all know, I would be kind of foolish to sit up here and name them off. We talk about this all the time. We know what they are doing for other people specifically, other than Black people. It's like, and when people ask you that, it's almost like you lying. I don't believe it. It was like, well, you ain't got to take my word for it. Hell, Google is free. At the very least, go there and then keep, doing your research until you say, oh, okay, either she's a liar or I didn't know what I was talking about, And Sonia, how you doing? He says, I'll vote to couch. A lot of people are saying they're going to vote to couch. And Norris, how you doing? He says, I never had any fear who was in charge. I was always in charge of me. Come on now. Says, I don't care. Shame me. Get cussed out. Right. Because at the end of the day, we got to push, pull, or drag, like my mom used to say, and get it out the mud on our own, regardless of who's in the White House. And, Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, no matter who's in the White House, Black people still got to do for self, Valerie. And how you doing? It says years ago, the DNC won a court case. The ruling said the DNC is a private corporation with no obligation to follow its own rules. I'm discussing it. I am done. See, sounds like somebody's, doing some research.
Valerie also look at the statement of the CBC. The CBC does not represent Black people. It represents everybody. They said that openly.
Yeah, that's what the CBC says on their own website, their mission statement. It did the last time I looked anyway, for Black people and other marginalized people. But then I went and looked on everybody else's caucus mission statement. They said for they people. It didn't say and everybody else. It's Black people. It's the Black Congress members that we elect to go to Congress to do for Black people. And they talking about, well, we helping everybody else too. And they always get around to helping everybody else and never help Black people. So that ought to tell us something. And Maria says, I used to live there. Sure wish I could afford to still live there. San Jose. Yeah. Ooh, San Jose. It's beautiful.
Yeah, there's a mass exodus of Black people out of California because they have made it to where it is unaffordable. Please explain to me how you put a $6 billion football stadium in the heart of the Black community in Los Angeles and take people's property and gave them basically pennies on the dollar when this actually happened, and move them out of there to where it's unaffordable. So you guys realize that in California, if you sell your house here, it is almost damn near impossible to buy another one. The median income of a house in California is over $800,000. So basically, I am a millionaire.
Yes, Thunder, so far making it through the freeze. We got one more night of it essentially. It's going to be like 20 degrees and all that. But, you know, the electricity has stayed on and it's not too bad. I went outside earlier. I was like, yikes, it's cold out here. I got to go out there tonight to bleed the pipes, you know, so they don't freeze. So,
well, Demetra, it'd be nice if you go out there with, you know, and put some clothes on rather than walking out in your robe and your slippers. Okay.
It's just right
in your bonnet. In your bonnet.
No. It's right there at the front door. So I just run out real quick. It's dark, and you know I turn all the water on in here, and then I turn on, you know, close off the spigot outside so all the water go out, so you know the pipes don't burst. And yeah, you know, and then wait till it warms up a little bit. And Polo Styles, how you doing? I hope I said that right. And Sean, how you doing? He says I'm writing in Dr. Claude Anderson. Yeah, you can write in other candidates. You don't have to choose the ones that are there. You can write them in. So absolutely. Everybody talking about y'all are voting the couch. That's not good for anybody, especially the Democrats and Black people are voting to stay on the couch, right? Down there, he says, did you see the end? Yes. So I saw that you guys mentioned that. I'm gonna put the link in here. The NAACP kicked out the Foundation of Black Americans that were I don't know what it was, Martin Luther King Day or something like that. And also pro-Palestinian people showed up as well, co-opted, if you will, the moment they tried to anyway. But yeah, I saw them kick them out when they were asking about reparations. But yeah, we also got to remember too, this guy, like I said, if we did be a little bit more logical, then we don't get as mad. The NAACP wasn't started by all Black people. It was started by mostly white people. That's their organization. They just allow Negroes to sit at the helm, which is why I was kind of also shocked that people got so mad at Rachel Dolezal. I was like, well, her people's organization, they just allow Black people to be up in it. So like Malcolm X said, we have to question why white people want to be at the helm of something Black. What's in it for them? And the NAACP has had a stronghold on Black community since its inception with 19 something, whatever it was, you know, early 1900s. And so I'm not surprised that they kicked out Black people asking for reparations, because if you're for Black people, why haven't they been at the forefront of really advocating for reparations? Why did the Foundation of Black Americans need to go in there in 2024 and say, hey, why y'all talking about Malcolm X? I mean, not Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, because he was talking about getting a check before he was murdered. Why wouldn't they advocate for that? Why would they feel that's something adverse and kick them out? Now, I understand it can be annoying that, you know, y'all trying to talk about something and people come up in there. Yeah, it could be annoying, but I would have said, okay, if y'all could have a seat, let us finish what we're doing and then we can address your concerns. But NAACP has never been for Black people. Now, they might speak out every once in a while on a Black issue, but they're not our organization. So I don't think we should be surprised that they're doing that.
Yeah, you know, they do speak out every now and then when it's a racial issue or something that is like really non-significant. I didn't hear them give one statement during George Floyd. You know, I didn't hear it. You know, I didn't see them on TV. I didn't hear anything. But matter of fact, who's that reverend? He was on the Reparations Commission here in California. He, as the NAACP president in San Francisco, just came at some Chinese guy because the Chinese guy was calling all the theft and the violence in the city. So he had to make a statement against the Chinese guy who was actually stating facts. Talking away, and then it was talking about he's using rap and hip hop, which is a Black cultural thing, as a tool to, it's disrespectful to Black culture. I'm like, where is this Sambo coming from?
Wow. Thunder, I was reading the comment about going outside and slipping the nightgown, having a Marilyn Monroe moment. It's funny because my daughter and I were watching Gentlemen Prefer Blondes with Marilyn Monroe and what was the other lady's name?
What's her name? Russell. Russell.
Yes, Jane Russell.
Jane
Yeah.
Russell.
We were watching. I've seen it before, but I seen it again from an adult point of view. I was like, interesting, very interesting. But it's just funny that you mentioned it. So I'll put the link in the comment section, please. If you come up here, make your commentary short, and don't come up here asking stuff that you've already asked a million times, because I'm going to nicely escort you off of here and say thank you. Come back again, if you don't mind, please, and thank you. Okay, let's see here. Calvin, you says every time when election time comes, it's the same old with Black people who never want to take a chance on a Republican candidate, and we're scared to take a chance. It's because we're being told that the Republicans are the boogeyman. You know, they're going to have you back on the plantation and all that other stuff. But it's like, okay, let's say that's true. What has the Democrats done for you? They haven't moved you off the plantation, right? They got us, thinking, oh, we need them. That's why they keep Black people dependent upon them, so they can always have a class of voters. But again, their old shenanigans are starting to wear off, and they're concerned. They're concerned that they can't just offer a fish fry anymore, or a bus of twerkers going to the polls. They're concerned that that low-hanging fruit that they give Black people is no longer working.
When you see Sheila Jackson Lee in a nightclub on a Sunday night raising the roof, you know they're in trouble. You know they're in trouble.
Yeah, and that's what she was doing. She was running for the mayor of Houston. She got whooped. She got whooped, to say the least, and I think it was a referendum on her. Like, people are tired of nothing. As I said, I drive, throughout various parts of Houston, and it's like, golly, this place is just left behind. Like, no politician, whether it's the city councils, the Congress people, that nobody cares about it. It's just left behind, and it's sad. But as I said, you'll see their signs, their campaign signs, sprawl throughout the hood, but you don't see much progress there at all. I mean, like I said, you go through there the wrong street and you're not paying attention, it'll tear your whole front end off. That's how bad the potholes are. It's bad.
It looks like you're in Gaza, huh? Potholes in the lawn.
Oh, God, yes. Right. De La Soul was up in there, potholes in my lawn. It's just like, golly. Not potholes in the lawn, but just it's bad. It's like, God. One time I was driving and they had like a cone in the middle of the damn road so that you don't run into it. It's like, why not just fix it? Because that means that somebody tore their car up once or 10 times already, driving through that. It's crazy. But yet they want you to show up to vote. For what?
Right. And I'm going to tell you, when we get to the general election, you're going to see more and more stuff that Biden said he couldn't do that he's now going to do. And I'm going to tell you guys, hey, if they produce it and you got that big deposit in your bank account, damn right, vote Democrat. But until they do that, look at some other options.
Yeah. And they say the former President Trump is doing exceedingly well on the campaign trail, and all while on his trial. Yeah, that's very telling. People don't want, they want, listen, I know Trump is facing a few trials and tribulations, like 91 of them. I know this. But often people want somebody to come in there and do something. We want somebody to come in there and make a move. Like with this migration stuff, it's like, come on. It's hurting everybody now. Before, it was predominantly hurting Black people. But now, I mean, it ultimately hurts everybody. But now you can see it more on the level of hurting Black people. Now it's hurting everybody else. And the borders are just wide open for everybody to just run up in here.
Well, you know what's crazy, Demetra? All of these so-called Democratic liberals talk about, oh, it's racist not to let these people in, whatever. Now that the migrants are showing up in their neighborhood, the racism's come out. Now it's a problem. Have you guys noticed that? All these Democratic liberals, oh yes, let the borders, let them come in. It's not right. We've got to help everybody. Now, when you see the migrants walking through their neighborhoods, asking for money and panhandling, oh, we got to get them up out of here. My God, have you guys noticed that?
Yeah. Black America says, why should we care about the potholes in your city? Ha ha. You a truck driver.
But for those of you guys that have been to Jamaica 13, 15, 20 times, hasn't been to Africa once. And I'm not calling you guys out, but I'm calling you out. You should go to Africa at least one time in your life. When you go to Jamaica, do you guys know how they fix the potholes there? I have family in Kingston. Do you know how they fix the potholes in Jamaica?
Sand?
No. And the city doesn't even do it. It's the people. They literally take cement and they fill the hole in. If you know anything about engineering and stuff, you can't grade a road with cement because it makes the road more sharper for your tires and stuff like that. And that's how bad it's going to get. And then that's what's happening here in a lot of our states where Black people live. Dimitri and I were on the other show, and I said, there is not much of a difference between us and what goes on in Africa and the Caribbean and stuff and how we handle things. For us to live in conditions like that and to be accepting of it, and our very representatives that we send that are supposed to do something for us, and we let them sit there. Aunt Maxine, she lives up in Calabasas. She doesn't live in South Central. She can't do it.
Yeah. Michael, what's on your mind?
Hi, Dimitri, Donovan. How you guys doing today?
We're doing well. How about yourself?
Okay. Just gonna add a little humor what Donovan Saadiq said. Excuse me to laugh, sorry, because it's funny, but it's also sad at the same time because we're the richest country on earth and we don't have money for potholes. In addition to giving Black American descendants of slavery, a cash payment of reparations. And it's like, America, how do I say, America, and you're right, Donovan and Dimitri, you're right. America's about propaganda. America knows how to talk a good game, but does not know how to walk a good game at the same time. So, yeah, and it's sad. I'm not sure if you got my email last night. It was in 2008 when the moderators asked the Democratic candidates about reparations. There's actually a Black audience who asked about that. Out of all the Democratic contestants at that time, 2008, unless you saw that video, Donovan, 2000, it was on CNN. Obama, yeah, sorry, I don't want to.
No, I would say no, I haven't seen it. I don't recall if I have.
Okay, yes, and I brought that because it still resonates today after 16 years later, because Obama's response was for reparations, and also John Edwards. Both of them were very insulting. And I'm going to say especially Obama said, my plan to rebuild Black America, I'm just paraphrasing, is we need to invest in public schools. That will close the racial wealth gap. And I was like, watching that video, like, Obama, you're not addressing the question directly from the audience. He asked, do you support reparations or not for Black American descendants of slavery? And everybody knew, like, Obama was a neoliberal Democratic candidate who was, sidestepping the question on reparations. But whereas, like, Dennis Kucinich, who was the Democratic candidate, he said yes to reparations. But I'm not sure he said yes to reparations for American descendants of slavery, because it sounded to me he said reparations for poor whites. And this was 2008. I kind of lost interest in voting Democrats. But I do know that a lot of Black baby boomers are getting upset with their kids voting for third-party candidates. Or I'm sorry, voting for third parties. This is the Green Party, People's Party, etc.
So, Michael, what is your question, or do you want to make a statement?
Yes. The question I want to ask Donovan is, because you mentioned earlier about how taxes are so high in California. When you say taxes are high in California, are you referring to taxes higher on middle-class people, working-class people, or the ultra-wealthy people in California, or just in general that's causing the exodus?
Well, just in general, like I said, the average tax rate in California is about 8%. Now that's in just like different levels of how you do it. You just buy something out of the grocery store or whatever. Everything is taxed in California. Everything. They're taking money out of your check. So in general, you guys got to think about this. I know California is a crazy state, democratically owned, whatever. You got people right up there in San Francisco making six figures, and they're living in trailers on the street. That's how high things are and crazy and out of control it is here. So what can an average person that makes $20 an hour do? There's not much we can do with that. Now, $20 an hour in Mississippi, that's pretty that's pretty decent. You know, you can deal with that. But in California, I'm making over $100,000 a year, and I'm barely making it. In general, yeah, the
Yeah,
taxation.
yeah. Maybe Donovan, maybe your birth is California. You're so proud to move to the South. It's better in terms of cost of living.
Well, y'all know he ain't gonna do that. But Michael, let me let Black America speak his piece, and then we'll see you another time. Thank you. What's happening, Black America?
Good afternoon, Ms. D, and good afternoon, Donovan. I just think you guys are I know you guys are political, right? You're getting into the political season, and I'm starting to see some kind of haterade going on with you guys. I know Donovan is a recovering Democrat. I dig it, but being an American, I'm sorry. I hate the pro-black shit. I do not believe in anything just for black people.
You know what? I've never asked you, why is your name Black America?
Because I am an American black person. I am the average American black person. It's not like you. You have a lot of let's say Muslim beliefs, right? You may not be Muslim, but you believe in a lot of the things you always say in Farrakhan and Marcus Garvey and Malcolm X, yada, yada, yada. Mm-hmm. But you got to understand that is such a small sect of people in this country. It's only 50,000 NOIs in this country. That's barely enough to fill up a college football stadium. So that's nobody.
Are we concerning ourselves with being like everybody else, or are we going to be among the few that's not like everybody else?
Okay, hold on. Say that again. Are we concerned ourselves with being with everybody else?
Yeah, everybody else. Are we trying to set ourselves apart? Because eagles don't fly with buzzards. There's not a lot of eagles, but there's a lot of buzzards.
Yeah, no, I don't believe that. I believe it's safety in numbers. And I believe in their strength in numbers. And if you are cast out and cut apart, you will be cut down. That is 100.
Who should we be aligned with? Like, what numbers should we be with?
America and the things that people in Black America do.
Ain't that what we talking about?
No. Oh, no. That's not what we're talking about. You're talking about things like reparations and things like that. Do most Black Americans believe in reparations?
Yes.
Free money? Yeah. Most Black people, white people, Hispanics, free money? Yes. The money that you earn? Yes.
No. So you're telling me that okay, so do most Americans believe in reparations for Black people?
No.
Yeah, not for Black people, no. But they believe in reparations.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So it's an American thing. I am American first before I am anything. I don't speak African. African is not my homeland. I was born here. If we've been in this country for the better half of 100 years, 400 years, 5 or 10 generations, I am an American before I'm anything else. So how long does it take for us to become American?
That's a nationality. So if you're born here, you American, right?
Exactly. So we are all national Americans. We're not. Okay, we're not.
With what you're saying that you're American. I guess maybe if I'm trying to ascertain this right, that we should do what go along with the agenda of America. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm an America first type of person. So it doesn't have anything what agenda you might want to go along with. It's just, when you guys are talking about, what Biden did and what Trump did, we know as a president, you're not going to just single out one group of kids and give candy to one group of kids. It's never going to happen. and
So
nothing
basically, what you're
substantial,
saying
and
is,
nothing substantial at that time either.
so we just not, advocate for anything black because we're American. Is that what we're saying?
I didn't say not to. You can advocate all you want. It's just it's a fool's errand though. You I'm not gonna say you'll never get it, but you know what? Michael had said something. Obama said, bringing up the public schools. That would have been great because our public school system sucks. And guess where most black kids go? It's to our public schools. You see what I mean? So that would have helped black people more than anything. Um, so there is ways of advocating for it, but it has to be something that everybody can get behind. As a black American,
let's say this. Since we've been on the plantation or off the plantation, all of America, or even the majority of America, has never been for black people, because again, when you are for something, you do helpful things. You do not do things that are adverse to them. So having black people on a plantation was never for something. They're not going to be for something for us now. However, there's a debt that is owed to black people via reparations and a whole bunch of other things that we are and have been asking for as black people. So per your analogy, we should be American and get on board with America, but America's never been on board with us. They've been on board with everybody else. But so black people supposed to just bend over no Vaseline and take it because America's not on our, we not all on the same agenda. That's not how that works, because nobody else does that. Asians don't come over here and say, oh, well, I'm going to be for, all of America. They're like, nah, we need a hate crime bill. The Jewish community, they got reparations. But when it comes to black people, we're supposed to be on everybody else's agenda. The Hispanic that's predominantly coming over here via migration, they're not saying, wait a minute, we want to get with black people in all of America. They're like, nah, y'all gonna put us in the Roosevelt Hotel in New York City, right down the street from Fifth Avenue, the finest hotel, one of them there is. And while there's black Americans, white Americans, and everybody else sleeping on these raggedy ass streets of America, they're not thinking about everybody else. The Ukrainians that's getting Social Security, when I know people who have been denied Social Security, who's paid into Social Security, they getting Social Security. They're not saying, nah, let the Americans that's getting denied Social Security first get it. Or, that the Afghans that have been flown over here and put up and taken care of, they're not saying, no, let's think of Americans first. So why is we as black people always being taught to think of everybody else first, negate your black stuff so you can be seen favorably in the eyes of people who will never see you as that?
Are you
California
done?
nationalists, if I can see your face before I bring you up to the big screen.
Are you done with that? Because I know you was on a roll. I'm just trying to figure out. I thought you was finna pull out a soapbox for a second.
Listen, I
bring my tambourine.
I don't have to pull out no soapbox. I'm on the soapbox, but when you come up here talking foolishness, it's gonna
no, Miss D. It's not foolish.
California nationalist. If I could see your face, I'm sorry if you showed it to me. I didn't see it before I bring you up to the screen. Go ahead.
Miss D,
I thank you, Tom, so much for the donation. Love and appreciate you. I'm glad you said it and I didn't. But go ahead.
It's not that you're wrong, okay? But you're not right. Donovan said that most black people. I would like to see a poll if every black person in America agrees with every black American agrees with reparations for black America. And then I would like to see a poll if every American agrees with reparations. Because see, if it's supposed to be a democracy, isn't that supposed to get whoever has the most votes that wins? Is that how we supposed to do things in this country? No, Donovan, that's not how it goes.
No, that's why they invent stuff like the filibuster and things like that to enhance what they want to pass. So majority does not rule. That's why minority groups have rights. Like in the Congress,
minority groups have rights, but majority groups get their way, though, bro.
No, not in Congress. When it comes to passing laws and stuff, that's why they made the thing of the filibuster. so that
Hold on a second. California Nationals, I know you got your mask and your hoodie on and stuff, but I just want to make sure it ain't no shenanigans because sometimes people be coming up here acting crazy. So nobody else can see you but me, but just let me see you and then I'll go ahead and put you up.
Yeah, that's why the filibuster was invented, so that the minority party can have just as much power as the majority party with locked up legislation. So no, it isn't majority rule anymore. They changed that a long time ago.
All right. So anything else you want to add, Black America?
No, I just called in to hate on y'all today.
We know ain't nothing new. Same old thing. We used to it, but we love you.
You
anyway.
make the show. You make the show. Go ahead.
No, I just want to keep y'all, grounded because, like I said, the percentages of people that you guys talking about, it's kind of like when you're talking about what Biden has done to Black people. You think the crime bill was bad. I think the crime bill, and even I went to prison under that crime bill, saved our community because we was both in California and we know how many of us was dying from the gang banging and the drugs every day. You don't see it like that now, but when in the 90s, we was getting popped off every day and dying, and all of our people were strung out on drugs. But you didn't go to jail. Donovan didn't go to jail because you guys weren't living that life. So that didn't affect you guys. But all the rest of the people around you, it affected a large percent of it. So the crime bill wasn't bad. It was actually a good thing. So I'll holler at you guys next time.
Yeah, get the hell off of here. We talk to you next time. Thank you, though.
Really? Really?
I love you, though. Okay. California knows how to party. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. Can you hear me?
We hear you just fine, brother. What's on your mind?
Yeah, yesterday I live in California. I was at the Martin Luther King Day parade on Crenshaw, and guess what? It's on my YouTube page, California Nationalists. I ran into Karen Bass, and I'm gonna tell you about her. I said, Miss Bass, can I ask you a question? She's surrounded by LAPD police. They keep pushing you back. They won't let you get nowhere near her. And it's a lot of the Democrats are the most phoniest people. If you ever come back to Los Angeles, go to the King Day parade, and then I seen it's on my YouTube page. I seen Maxine Waters there. She waved and she don't say nothing to nobody. She just run through. These people like scared of us or something. They won't have nothing to do with you.
You know why? Because they scared you gonna ask them a question they should have the answer to. That's why. They don't want you to hold their feet to the fire.
It's on my YouTube, California National. I was at the King Day parade, and that the only thing I really liked about it, it was a group in the parade saying I posted the video saying reparations now, but nobody really seen them. Everybody was so busy because they had like a little small thing in the parade. But that was the only thing I liked it. But the mayor, the Demo, and it was a bunch of like Democrat people down there waving, wouldn't even let you get close to them. They make sure they keep you far away back and everything. But the only people I seen out there was the people called the reparation people. That they was in a car. If you go to California Nationalists on YouTube, you can see the videos. And then yeah, the LAPD was there, and they give us tickets like crazy. They was there in the it's like to me, it's fake. These people come out, they just fake as can be. You know, they wave and they don't have nothing to do with nobody and everything.
Yeah, it's a photo op, so they can get in the newspaper, on the news. Oh, they was at the, Martin Luther the King Day parade. It's like, but what was you doing there? Was you actually? I mean, do you remember when Maxine, she was talking to the homeless community, and she was like, well, just write down your phone number. And it's like, and your address. We homeless. What do that's that. Oh, I'm here trying to act like I'm helping, but just write everything down and we'll contact it. They're like, lady, we ain't got nowhere to go. But right. She's doing that so she could say she was there, but she got busted, shooing people away.
And then, I mean, how many of us know that Karen Bass garnered the Latino vote because she was married to a Latino man and has a Latino daughter? So that's where she got a lot of her support to become mayor of LA. because again, we don't do our homework and we just see a black person with a black face and we think, oh yeah, they're going to do right by us. That woman has not done one thing for black people since she was elected to that office.
Was you at the parade yesterday?
Nah.
Okay, because now you had black vendors there and everything, but as far as them politicians, it's all about, I'm running for this, vote for me, support me, and can't get close to them. Surrounded by LAPD, surrounded by if she had detectives like her as her personal bodyguards and everything, you couldn't get nowhere near her.
Right, and Sheila Jackson Lee was trying to do the exact same thing. You got a pension coming from Congress. All you got to do is serve one term in Congress, and you have a pension for the rest of your life of $100 and something thousand. They get 100% of their pension, and health care and whatever else stipends that go with that. So Sheila Jackson Lee tried to do the same thing. Now you got to remember, these women are in their 70s. They're in their 70s, and they're still running for office right now. Barbara Lee is running for Senate. Barbara Lee is what, 78 years old or something like that?
She up there.
And she's running for Senate. When are these people going to sit down?
I don't know. And what to me though, the election we need to be ready for is 2028, because Gavin Newsom, if he run for governor, president, we finish. He gonna destroy the whole country, not just California. What's happening here gonna happen nationwide, and we're gonna be messed up.
Well, California nationally, here's the good thing. California can't get any lower than where it's at right now. So for us, we're done. But here's what I think is gonna happen with Gavin Newsom. When we get to the general election now, they are going to ask Biden to step aside because the numbers are going to be so overwhelmingly with Trump coming on as strong as he is coming on. And they're going to do, because I think in the bylaws of the Democratic Party, it's just like what they're doing in Florida where they're keeping people off the ballot. They have this bylaw where they can just, against the will of the people, put in anybody they want. I think they're going to do a switch with Gavin Newsom as the person to go against Trump, because remember, Gavin Newsom just a couple of weeks ago just went to China, and I know California is the 10th biggest economy, but they're putting him on a national stage to where he's kind of getting that exposure and that experience of an international portfolio. So I think that's what's going to happen.
One more thing, and I know you got, and I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna let y'all take the other callers. But by Mr. Biden, does he have dementia, or like is his mind slowly leaving, or what's
cognitive decline? It's called cognitive decline.
And the thing is, though, they'll never tell us, but we can see what's going on with him. It's like, nah, this man ain't. I don't want to say he's crazy, but he's up there in age, So clearly, it's something going on. Although they're gonna keep telling him, oh, he's fine. There's nothing wrong with him. He's sharp as a tack and all that. But it's like, come on, man. We see him doing a robot on the stage, and going talking to people who ain't there. At one particular event, I saw he just walked off the stage in the middle of when he was supposed to be speaking. So it's like, it's some. But the cold part is the DNC. They're forcing that at Biden as a choice to vote for. He's fine. Y'all keep, because they shouldn't.
Wait. Let me correct you. You said choice. We aren't even being given a choice.
But I'm saying. I'm saying for him being a Democratic nominee, they're shoving that on people who are, let's say the Democrats. They shouldn't have put Biden up there in 2020. Clearly, he has something going on then, but they put him up there as a choice, and then they're gonna do it again 4 years later when clearly something's going on. I don't even know if y'all saw recently. They're starting to have his wife walk him off stage. So it's like, okay, what's going on here? So yeah, California, there's definitely something going on there.
Okay, y'all can take the next caller, but go to California Nationalists on YouTube, and I record Miss Bass and the whole parade and how she running away from it. But thank you.
And put your stuff in the comment section so people can follow you. Anybody have a YouTube channel that y'all want to be followed? Put it in the comment section. But yeah, we're definitely gonna follow you, brother.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. Yeah, so like you said, he saw it there. Y'all check it out. California Nationalists, live in living color. He there and he's watching these black politicians at Martin Luther King, Day parade, not talking to nobody. They just want to sit up and, but indeed they just don't want to be asked questions like, yo, Karen Bass, you advocated for all the Hispanics and everybody else, But nothing for black people, nothing for us. Maxine Waters, you was walking tall and talking tough for a minute. Yeah, I'm going to Washington, asked him about reparations, and she ain't said nothing since. I didn't even know Maxine Waters was still with us. Honestly, like, where has she been? But there she is at the MLK Day parade, but so she lives. But it's like, what are you doing? So I don't know. But again, I'm not mad at Maxine, Auntie Maxine. People talking about child Maxine reclaiming her time, and that's all she needed to do is just be walking tall, talking tough, and then people ran away with the sound by, oh, you don't mess with Auntie Maxine, Auntie, because that's when they coined her Auntie Maxine, but it's like, knock it off. Auntie Maxine ain't did nothing for you but give you a sound bite that you can run around acting like that's doing something for black people. Don't you say I just thought of this? What did Biden lose solely because of the direct loss of black votes, and he and his handlers decide to launch an attack against Black America with harmful legislation out of spite? You mean more than he's already done? What else could he do more than lock up black people disproportionately? What else could he do? So he can't do nothing else he hasn't already done. And if he does, well, as I said, not to be derogatory, but we're going to outlive roaches. That's how powerful black people are. Okay. It's hard to kill a roach. Roach is going to be here. And so we're going to be here hand in hand. You know what I mean? So we'll be all right. But that's just more of a situation of we need to learn how to do for self like every other community does. Asians, if they legislate against them, they ain't going to stop their money. They're the least in population and the most wealthiest class of Americans. So it ain't anything that they do against them ain't gonna stop them. They're gonna keep practicing group economics, organized, and all of that. See, it's only us that's like, oh God, what I was gonna do? It's like, you gonna, get together and do for self. That's what we've been asked to do for a very long time. At one point in time, see, that's one thing Farrakhan said. In a nutshell, Trump is gonna really force the hand of black people. We too dependent upon the Democrats. Oh, whoosh, Democrats are back in office. And we knew that black people were going to be rocked back to sleep. But now black people are starting to say, okay, nah, we ain't no time for sleeping on the job. But as much as you hate Trump, it's going to force black people to say, hey, we really need to do for self. Everybody else does.
Well, what I really think that really messed the Democratic Party up and really got people upset with what's going on is they made so many promises. If you get Warnock in there, you get Ossoff in there, we're going to get the crime bill. We're going to get the George Floyd bill. You give us the Senate, we're going to get you the crime bill. We're going to get you these things. And people believed it. You had Stacey Abrams out there. All of the bootlets were out there saying, yeah, all we got to do is do this, and we're going to get this, and we're going to get this. And they did not do one thing that they promised. Didn't do one. Oh, the stimulus checks, the $2,000 stimulus checks will be out there the next day. 1,400. He showed it as 600 out of the checks. I mean, there were so many lies that people were like, we are done. And that's what I think really ticked a lot of people off. The student debt forgiveness, a real big one, because nobody has more student debt than women in the United States. So again, it's just one of those things where people are like, we're done. And now all of a sudden, he can waive away $12,000. If you can waive away $12,000 by executive pen, you could waive away all of it. Am I correct?
Yes. So yes, if you guys have a YouTube channel you want people to follow, please do so. Put it in the chat. And I will say this too about us following each other. The more of us that follow each other, that's more money we could put in each other's pockets, right? That's another way to have a source of income. Imagine if I have almost 17,000 subscribers. 17,000, at least half of them go subscribe to somebody else, and so on and so forth. YouTube will write us all a check if we're all subscribed and we watch the content and all that other stuff. So that's another way to practice group economics on somebody else's dime, right? It's not going to kill us to follow each other. So they're just putting that out there. There's another way for us to get a check, no matter how small it is. Shoot, just money, right? So hopefully y'all keep that in mind. Only Pamela's Way, how you doing? Says Biden is senile sometimes, and then he's Grand Wizard and Kamala silly. What a pair. Right. It's like, what's really going on? Thank you, Miss Sweet Talks. And Miss Sweet Talks has a channel as well. Y'all will follow her. Thank you for saying that. Another great discussion. Norris, thank you so much for that. I don't know, maybe I'm drinking out the fountain of youth, or, I ain't letting nobody get on my nerves. You let people get on your nerves, it stress you out. You got to say, not today, boo-boo. I'm living a stress-free life, and living a stress-free life will help you stave off the wrinkles. I don't know about the gray hair as much, but most definitely. But thank you for that. Let's see. So, we got about another 20 minutes. What else y'all want to talk about? What else is on the menu? And Rodney says, I like Congressman Danny Davis here in the 7th District of Illinois. And he did nothing for years. Oh, he said, I'm sorry, just like Congressman Danny Davis. So he's been there and done nothing for years. But again, then why is he still there? Carmen says, that's what got them. It has nothing to do with Trump. They outright lied. And Samuel says, it's wonderful seeing Black people waking up and seeing how wicked the Blue Democrat Party is. Yeah, they mean Black people no earthly good. Hey, JBWR, how you doing? And let's see here. Michelle says the Census Bureau is lying about the 13% of us making up a population. If that were true, why do they continue to pander for the Black vote? Because you got to remember, this is roughly like 44 million of us, and I guess a large amount of that would probably be eligible to vote, especially if you're 18 and you don't have a lot of other things to stop you. So that's still a significant amount of votes, right? What did Biden win the popular vote by? 70 million. So you get at least half of the population of Black people. But you take that away, that can vote, and we to the tune of 90-some% voted for Biden, Black voters. If you take that away, he can't win. So while it doesn't sound like a large number, it's large enough to make a difference for them. But you're right. I do think, perhaps that we are larger in population. But now if you take away, and I'm trying to think, because I used to do the census, the questions, if you take away now, because there's being this delineation, if you will, of Africans that are Nigerian and this, that, and the other. So they're not necessarily going to be lumping Black people all together, even though you come from Africa. So will Black Americans number actually be smaller? You know what I mean? So
yeah, because remember I told you, even on the FAFSA now, they've separated Blacks into different categories: Caribbean, African, Afro-Latino. They're starting to separate us in groups. So
how you doing, Pop? So you're saying this is all? I'm saying above all that, Datma is my drone channel. Okay, so that's the one you want people to subscribe to. Okay, so y'all see it in the chat. If y'all can, please, and thank you. Calvin says, how can we do for self when we can't get together as a people with trying to hurt and kill each other because jealousy and hate is some of us, not all, though. You're absolutely right. We have to unlearn those behaviors. When you love yourself, you love your brother. See, a lot of that comes from self-hate, because you don't harm what you love. If you love yourself, then you're going to love your brother. It's hard for you to harm something you love. It's just that simple. So we have to unlearn the things, the self-hate that has been taught to us, and that we just continue to teach to each other. And we also need to learn that because your brother or your sister got it, that don't mean less of you. That means that they got it. Great. I'm happy for you. Now let me go get it. Or maybe if they're gracious, they'll tell us, give us the game, right? But at the end of the day, we got to stop that, because it is holding us back.
Right. And then, with time and duration, a lot of those people that are out there killing each other and doing all that, they're going to eventually, delete out. Eventually, it's gonna, delete themselves out over time. It's just like when, some of our dads, like my dad's a baby boomer, whatever. He wasn't in a gang per se, but you couldn't walk into his neighborhood. But now he's an old man, so all of that stuff has deleted itself out. So eventually, those people are going to go to the wayside. And there's more of us that are trying to do the right thing and establish communities than there are that little group that wants to destroy the community.
Yeah, Thunder, if the Democrats want to do that, so be it. Go ahead and do it. I mean, what are we? And Trump said, my African Americans, what do you have to lose? I mean, honestly, what do we have to lose if the Democrats decide to do more of nothing for us? Nothing from nothing is what? Nothing. I mean, I'm just saying. So,
right. And politics is about power. All these people want is the power. So How do you think it's going to look if the Democrats keep losing election after election after election after election cycle? Sheila Jackson Lee couldn't get it done. The first black governor of Louisiana couldn't get it done. The people down in Mississippi, they couldn't get it done. They're losing these elections now, and black people are not listening. Chicago is about to turn on fire. New York is about to turn up. If they keep losing and they can't hold on to that presidency, how long do you think it's going to take before they say, okay, wait a minute, we got to give these Negroes something and not symbolism? Because like I said, a lot of us are waking up. Hey, we want it in our bank accounts in the morning. If you can't give it to us, we don't want to hear it.
Absolutely. Tracy says we are not 13%. If they say you're a small percentage, you will believe you have no power or your people outnumber colonizers. We're only 13, and Lola Falana. Yeah, I believe that we are more as well, but we're still more than some in population than some people. But with whatever percentage we are, we got to make a move together. Move forward together so we could get what it is we got to get, whether it's practicing group economics, whether it's demanding something from this government. But definitely we have the power to practice group economics, because that's really where our real power is. We'll have more of a say-so and more bargaining power if we stand together economically, and a whole host of other things.
Yeah, they're saying that actually we are probably about 28%, if not to 32% of the population of people that identify themselves as black. Because remember, you got a lot of people that came here from Africa and the Caribbean for over 100 years that have migrated here, but the people that are ADOS is probably half of that. So that's the numbers we're looking at. And the reason why they keep our numbers low is because of the census. That means we don't get as many resources. So as long as the black population keeps low, you can't demand more resource because you don't have enough numbers. So that's what all that's about. But how can the Asians, a lot of them flew here from the Vietnam War, that were 3% in the 1970s, is almost 9% today. So that tells you one of two things. The United States government is engaged in a systematic genocide of black people, or we're just not having babies. And we know that, the latter is not true.
Yeah, I saw Black America talk about, he want to talk about the delusion of women. Why? Why we want to talk about that? Huh? We not going to talk about that. Yeah, it's our pleasure, Miss Sweet Talk. Let's see here. Michelle says crime is committed by all races, but the mainstream media does a great job of publicizing black on black crime. Again, as Dr. Claude Anderson says, we own less than 3% of the media. So, of course, they're going to be able to have a jump on the narrative, but we can be responsible with the images that we show. Look at all the blogs that are black owned. Look at all the negativity they show about black people all day long. And the stuff that we share on our social media, right, all day long. Are we choosing to show negative stuff that shows us in a bad light? Or are we choosing to show good stuff and some of the negative stuff? You see what I'm saying? So yeah, we can't control that. But with the media that we have, if we're responsible with that, then yeah, we can definitely change the image of black people. But they do that to keep everybody else in fear of black people, making them think that we are the problem. When in fact, the problem has been exacted upon black people, never really having a chance to be who we are fully, due to a lot of things, including systemic and institutional racism. And them putting those negative images out is just more doubling down of, see, black people ain't this, black people ain't that. You know what I mean? Wally, how you doing? Says, I didn't catch the show from the beginning, but have y'all discussed the fact that there are 50 plus CBC members in all? We need to do is elect about 10 who will promise to hold up bills in Congress. Yeah, and most of them need to go because they have been in there doing a bang up job for everybody else and thumbing their nose at black people. So I totally agree with you. We don't need 50 black Congress members there if they're not going to be doing anything for black people.
Right. The majority in the House is only 2 votes. Only 2. That controls Congress right now. 2 votes. If the Democrats come up with 3 special elections or somebody dies in office and they win those seats, the House flips back to Democrat, only by 2. So all you really need, like you said, less than 10. Where are unapologetic young black politicians? We don't have them, because when they get in there, just like AOC and the squad and all these people coming in, we coming in here, we're going to turn it up. Nancy Pelosi slapped them down like they stole something. Oh
yeah, they're not gonna go against. And where has she been?
She's around. A couple last week, she had done an interview with MSNBC on Jim Pataski's show.
Didn't her husband die not too long ago?
No, he got assaulted.
I don't know. Somebody's husband died or something. I don't know. Yeah, no, he got that's what they say, right? So let's see here. So I asked y'all what y'all want to talk about. Black America, talking about the delusion of women. Somebody said the delusion of America. Let's see here. Let's skip down. Beverly, if I didn't already, how you doing? Says, even if we get reparations, don't vote Democrat. They're morally bankrupt. I totally agree with you on that. I think it just their time is up.
Well, the funny thing is, if we all got reparations, and this is another reason that I think they fear both parties, we don't need them anymore. We will go back and build another Black Wall Street or another, I don't know, go find some land in somewhere and build another metropolitan area and do our thing,
Oh, absolutely. Nora says back in the 50s and 60s, Black men started saying to each other, hey, man, or hey, brother, because white supremacists called them boys to respect each other. Yeah, we need to get back to that, right? Let's not disparage each other because, again, that kind of stuff was taught to us on the plantation. And unfortunately, we really have not unlearned those things. I mean, we don't do and say the things that used to be done, but we still, in fact, if you ask me, I think we're going backwards. When I say we, I mean these white record executive companies, the powers that be, with the images that they're putting forward of Black men and Black women. With like sometimes when I see some of the images, I'm like, this can't be real life. It cannot. Like, are we in a nightmare? Some of the images that we see of that these people put of Black men and women in the most compromising positions and just conversations and all of that is like, that's what they want us to believe our people are. But our people are not that. In fact, our people are really super conservative, and we used to be, right? There's things that we would not do and would not say. Women would not be caught outside looking disheveled and, all of that, especially the images that they put forth of our women. Women wouldn't be outside talking all salty and loud and crazy and all of that. If you cuss, and sometimes I cuss, I don't do it as much, but I'm not outside. You will never, ever hear me outside cussing. You're not, because it's not ladylike. If I'm going to do it in an house. I rarely do it on here. But the point of me even bringing that up, there's a time that our women wouldn't be seen doing that kind of stuff. You saw Mrs. So-and-so, you're like, oh, she's just a godly woman. Look at her. She's on her way to church. But you never know that she was cussing the whole family out or cussing Buster out for not coming home that night. That way you didn't know all of that. She didn't tell her business, and she wasn't out there acting like, like a strumpet in the streets. And men either. They weren't out there, saying different things to each other crazy. They was, like you said, hey, brother, how you doing? All that other stuff, which is why I always say, and I know there's some that have a problem with us calling each other kings and queens. And when we call each other kings and queens, yeah, you may not be acting that way now, but it's a reminder, hey, queen, hey, king, because that's supposed to serve as a reminder as to this is how you're supposed to be acting. You're supposed to be acting like a queen. Queens ain't out there looking like that, talking like that, acting like that. Kings ain't out there doing that. They're acting as if you are royalty, because we are royalty. Black people are the most royal people on the planet. If we were not, everybody would not be doing everything under the sun to be like us. So we need to get back to that common respect of one another. Let's see here. I'm just going to skip down so I can catch up a little bit. Acknowledging people who I have not seen just yet. And Bountiful Ferrucci says, no, you notice the squad hasn't kicked up a fuss even after Pelosi retired. She got them in check. She's like, you're not going to be coming up here thinking you finna do, y'all the hot girls on the block. Y'all going to get in line behind us. You sit your hot tail down. You're hot in the pants. You up here talking about what you're going to do, what you ain't going to do. She's like, hey, y'all better ask somebody about me. And that she is Nancy Pelosi. And you ain't heard them dust up nothing ever since.
And have you noticed that whenever there's a vote in the House, they don't go to the CBC and say how many votes you got. They are automatically assume the blacks are going to vote in lockstep, which they do. Like I said, it only takes 3 of them to revolt, but they won't do that because it's about power. When you go to the House, you got to face election every 2 years. Do you guys realize these guys spend, of those 2 years that they're supposed to be serving us, they spend half of the 2 years fundraising and getting money to be reelected. So they're not even concentrating on the problems in America and what's actually happening. As long as they can get a soundbite, get on MSNBC, CNN, Fox, whatever it is. That's all they worry about. And it's unfortunate because we can point out Nancy Pelosi, but we can't point out who is our alderman or our councilwoman that represents us in our city when we see a bunch of homeless people or graffiti in our city that we don't know what to do and how to get it removed.
Absolutely. I'm a Wally. I shared the link if that's what you're talking about to come on to the show. We're going to be here for about another 5 minutes or so if you want to come up here. Let's see here. And Tracy says independent here. Thank goodness. Yeah, you know.
Calvin had a question. He said, did anybody see the Emmys? Did you see that question?
Let's see.
Calvin Dickerson. And did any black people win?
Okay, so you see it, so maybe you can read it to me. What does it say?
Yeah, it says, did anybody see the Emmys and did any black people win?
You know, I didn't even know the Emmys was coming on. Y'all know I don't have TV per se, so I don't really watch TV. I have like Netflix and stuff like that, but I don't keep up with a lot of TV. I knew that it was coming on, but I don't know anything about the Emmys at all. So yeah.
All right, but here's my thing, Mr. Calvin, or Calvin, I don't know if it's whatever. Here's my thing. These award shows, they don't have the significant weight that they used to. We have so many problems in this country with people surviving. The young people see no future. I mean, you know, they can't buy homes. Everything's expensive, so on and so forth, that these things don't show weight. And then Hollywood itself, Harvey Weinstein, Will Smith, I mean, all these things that are going on in Hollywood has been exposed to where Epstein, all of these people, these, you know, things that are happening that people have really kind of pulled away from that. And it really doesn't matter, you know, if people are winning whatever. I didn't watch it. I heard last night a lot of black women took home a lot of awards. Now, ask yourself, and I'm just putting this out here. Why is it that when it's election time, black people seem to be winning and doing all this great stuff to make us feel good, but then when it's not that time, we don't get anything? Just something to think about.
Yeah, Thundy says you were listening to the Bofang radio, and there was some chatter. I must say was very interesting. You know, I'm gonna have to crank mine up. I got it on the charger and everything like that. But I think tonight, as I try to go to sleep, I'm gonna listen and see exactly, you know, what's on there. Kind of play around with it a little bit. I'm almost scared because I don't know what you heard. So y'all saying what's the name? Quita Bronson, is that her name? One, yeah, but it's her award, or is her husband? Yeah, she's married to a white guy, from what I understand, from Abbott Elementary. That's not feeling. She says they are propping up black women to get to the polls. Oh Lord, yeah. I don't know about some of them, but not us. Okay, we're not going to the polls.
You know, and I want you guys to think about this. When you talk to the older people about the Democratic Party, or people that are just hardcore Democrats, just go by the Democratic policies and show me somebody that agrees with all of the Democratic policies. They're pushing the LGBTQ agenda. They're pushing illegal immigration. They're pushing abortion, not women's rights. They're pushing abortion. Abortion is not a woman's right. It's something they can do, but it's not a right. You know what I mean? They can do it, you know, whatever it is. But look at all the things that they're pushing, and a lot of it is not conducive to black people. It's not conducive to us as a people. If we are only 13% of the population, we need to start making babies. And I'm not talking about recklessly. We need to start making babies. So, Demetra, what is the number that they say since the 1970s that is estimated that black babies have been deleted?
It's quite a bit. They say more than people have lost their lives in the Vietnam War. So absolutely. Amawali, how you doing? Unmute yourself. I muted you.
Yeah, am I unmuted now?
Yep, I can hear you. How you doing?
All right, and you? How you doing? How you doing, Donovan?
I'm doing well.
It's my first time on your show. I'll be listening and watching y'all a lot. So.
Yes.
Yeah, I was just calling. I mean, here y'all was. I was mentioning about the 50 plus CBC members.
Uh-huh.
And we also had, like, we got 2 black senators. I was saying, if you notice how Manchin and Sinema was doing in the Senate, how they blocked things, and then you see how when he just had this speaker, the Republican speaker, and how they got rid of McCarthy, and how they used simple 8 votes to block. That's been something that we could have done for the longest. Adam Clayton Powell back in the '60s, he used to do it. So we've always had this power. We've always had this. We'd have been able to do this if we would just find somebody with the gumption, with the nerve, with the guts to do it. And that's why they got rid of Adam Clayton Powell, because that's what he used. That's how he got all the civil rights. It wasn't just Dr. King. It wasn't just the civil rights movement. Go and see who passed all those. There was laws, the legislation, those bills.
Oh my gosh, I'm I mean to cut you off, but Demetria knows everything there is to know about Adam Clayton Powell.
There you go.
A posthumous crush on Adam Clayton Powell.
So I'll say no more. So I'm just saying that all we need to do is get a few independents in either the Congress, the House of Representatives, or the Senate. Not through the parties, because they gotta fund it, and so they're gonna be beholden to the funding, and they're gonna bow down to the whether they're Republican or Democrat, and usually they're Democrats. So we need to get somebody really get behind them as a people, get behind them, fund them, get them in there and tell them to lock it down. Don't let no bills get passed, just like they got these bills that they held up now for funding for the government. Shut everything down till you give us reparations, till you give us the anti-black crime bill, till you. We want nothing. The whole government be shut down. Don't bend. Don't bow. I don't care what they threaten you with. I guarantee you, it's a surefire win. But we gotta have somebody that got that heart, that nerve, like you said, like Adam Clayton Powell. That's the only way it's gonna get done. That's all I got to say. We can do it right now. We can do it right now. We ain't got to, fantasize or hope and pray or none of that. We can actually we can do it right now. We just stuck to our guns and we all came together. Put somebody in there that's gonna hold it down. We could do it. It could be tomorrow, next year. We could do it.
All we need is more than 2. That's all we need.
Yep, just count the numbers. You always got to be 218 in the Senate. It got to be 218. If they don't have 218, ain't nothing getting passed. So let's say if it's 220 Democrats and 215 Republicans, or the other way around. As long as you don't let them get to that majority and they can't pass nothing, you got more, because the Republicans are always going to go against the Democrats. And the Democrats gonna always go against. So you play the ends against the middle. You play them, and once they cancel each other out, you have to the 8 votes with the speaker. You got the power. You said, nah, you ain't, nope, can't get that. Nah, Israel can't get nobody can't get Ukraine, nobody get no money until you do what you have to do for us.
Well, think about this, Wally. When Biden first got in office, he did everything he needed to do within the first 45 days. The 2 Asian senators and a couple of the representatives went to him and said, we will not get any legislation passed if we don't get something. And guess what?
Happened.
They got a bill. Just those 2.
I remember that too, Donovan.
But we have almost 60 representatives and we can't get nothing through.
That's what I want, because it never put out there. That's the only reason why I tapped into your show. I always just sit back and listen, because y'all always cover everything. Y'all be speaking that truth to power. But I'm saying, I don't hear nobody saying that how is right at our finger. And Adam Clayton Powell, you know this, Demetria. What's in your hands? You know what I'm saying? What's in our hands? What power we got right now? Shut it down. Not just not elect Biden. Man, we'll shut everything down. And don't feel bad. Oh, y'all hateful or spiteful. Y'all mean? Nah, y'all don't. They in their 2020 platform, Biden promised to get a commission to look into reparations. That was just a fake meow. He wasn't going to do that anyway. They're talking about the Republicans ain't going to vote for this. And if you shut everything down, just like they did the COVID-19 anti-Asian crime bill, all the Republicans and all the Democrats, for some reason, they all suddenly got on the same page. You got to pressure them. It's about having leverage. If you got leverage, you can make any knee bow. You can. I'm telling you, I'll be so mad. I'll be so frustrated when I'm looking at what is wrong with us. We got the power right now. Right now, we have it.
But you got to remember, we have these older, and I'm not saying the baby boomers are, because we have a lot of them that are good to go. They understand what's going on. We're talking about those ones that are still on the plantation. Yeah. They are more worried about being insulted because Trump called them the N-word, or our standing in the United States. our astronaut. I mean, what did Malcolm X used to say? Our astronauts. And they won't even let the black person near the plant. And they talk about our astronauts. You know what I mean? We still have those Negroes running around today. They're so worried about everybody else rather than worrying about their own home and what's going on in their own community.
Jeffries ain't no better. He took Nancy Pelosi. He's just a puppet. She groomed him. He's supposed to be the nephew or something related to Dr. Jeffries. You know who Dr. Jeffries is? I live in Newark. Dr. Jeffries, you know the reputation that Dr. Leonard Jeffries has? Where did this joker come from? He's a flunky, he's a stooge. I mean, everybody seemed to be scared of Nancy Pelosi. I don't know what she's some mobster. I don't know what, but they
might be her daddy was connected, wasn't he?
Nancy,
he was a mayor or something.
Well, actually, Nancy Pelosi is the biggest fundraiser in the Democratic Party. So even though she stepped down from leadership, she is still pulling the strings behind. Like I said, notice that when the Democrats lost power, they put black people in leadership positions. So which means absolutely nothing.
Exactly. Exactly. That's all I want to say. I'm saying if y'all could just somehow, because Donovan, I know you into a lot of that governmental stuff, and I see you did shows before, and you very knowledgeable in that. You know, you be out there doing your thing. So I'm saying that, you know, if you could just find some candidates, man, it got to be independent, man. If you can find some organization, if we can get some like started in you in California. I know Dimitri, you're in Texas. I'm in Jersey. I mean, network all, man. Listen, we get one in every state. Like, well, are we starting in the counties, or we started with the districts, whatever they are, within the states, you know? And then we work. All we need is a few soldiers in there, and we can shut it down. Then they will be so stunned. They think they stunned now because blacks aren't going to the polls, voting for, are not going to vote for Democrats. Let them see we put somebody up in there, and they are Adam Clayton Powell wannabe. You know what I'm saying? They doing what he's doing. They shutting it down, and they ain't. I don't care what they say. Just like them two Orientals or Asian women did, just like Manchin and Sinema did, just like they did with McCarthy when they kicked him out. If we do that, they will be stunned. They don't think we got the, you know what? They don't think we got it. They think we just ducks and suckers. We ain't gonna never. We got soldiers out here. We just don't. We're not unified. We don't. We have. We, you know, if you divide it, they say, you know, if you divide it and then they can conquer us. We never. You have to consolidate that power. You have to come together, and it can't be, you know, no egos and nothing. This just got to be for the cause. I'm doing it for the cause. Donovan take the lead, or Dimitri take the lead, or both y'all take whoever. I don't care. I'll just be in the background. We'll all be in the background, but you know, we got your back. Not like Biden said, we really got your back.
Right. But like a lot of our former black leaders, when they started getting killed out, nobody stepped up.
Exactly. That's what they did. We had soldiers. They killed their head and the body died. Even Dr. King was people. So they just had his holler yesterday. But I was on the internet. I was like, come on, y'all don't know what he said. Y'all don't know why he took him out. Y'all don't know what he was trying to do. Y'all don't know that he met the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And he had to talk with Malcolm. Y'all don't know what he was really, where he was coming. He had a come to Jesus moment. He's like, nah, I was just I saw Dimitri, you put the post about a burning house. You posted it yesterday about that people weren't aware of the fact that he said he integrated into a burning house.
But the other part was that when because Harry Belafonte is actually the one that told the story, that he had a conversation with MLK, and he says, I fear I integrated my people into a burning house. And then so Harry Belafonte says, well, what do we do about it? He says we need to become firemen. But see, people say that part, and they're barely just not starting to say about the burning house. But they also leave off what he said, okay, we all need to become firemen. So it's basically, we put out the burning house, and that's obviously by, unifying, because integration did what? It separated us, right?
That's right. That's
right. So we become firemen by putting that burning house back out and coming back together. And I took it also to mean, let's stop putting out everybody else's burning house, because that's what we do as Black people. That's what the CBC is doing. We elect them to go to Congress for us, but they going to put everybody else.
Everybody else. I heard you say it. I heard Donovan say it. I heard That's the truth. I'm gonna go, but just remember that. I hope people who, if anyone's here, I'm telling y'all some good stuff. This is all we need to do. It's right there. It's been there for us. We ain't got to keep crying and moping around and hemming and hawing and hoping and praying. We could just step it up. Just step it up right now. Step it up right now. And I'm telling you, they at our mercy right now. If we just came together. We've been in here in this country a long time. We done established many things, and people done rolled our backs, even with the civil rights, white women, minorities, people of color. Y'all know how they misused that and was supposed to be for us. Even Dr. Claude Anderson breaks that down. We got to start looking out for, we got to say black folks, what you call it, FBA, ADOS, whatever, black folks, we just got to say, I'm sorry, when we get there, then when we finally, made cross that threshold, if y'all need some help, because we know we kind hearted people, maybe we do something. But right now,
Right. You're absolutely right. Mm-hmm.
You got to take care of your own home first. I wouldn't expect no one, you, Demetri, or the your home come first. Then you reach out to your extended family, then your community, your neighborhood. Well, if you ain't taking care of your home and you out there taking care of everybody, I'm on YouTube, baby. That's foolish. Your house is falling apart, but everybody else is in order because you out there in the street taking that. That's illogical. That's nonsensical. Nobody does that, and nobody would expect.
But sweet Jesus would want you to go and help those people in the street because Jesus is the
That's okay. I ain't gonna hold it up no more. But thank you for letting me come on. Please.
Thank you, all. It was nice for you to be here. Thank you.
Nice talking to you for the first time. Right.
Yes, and come see us again.
All right now.
All right. Good night.
But am I right, Demetri? Sweet Jesus says we have to go out and help those that are better than us and, don't want anything. And, it's the Christian thing. And when I'm dead, I'm going to get the Mercedes. And when I'm dead, I'm going to get the mansion. And we going to give up y'all. And we going to do all of those things. You want it? Sow your seed into me. And don't worry about what the naysayers are saying. The Demetri K's, the Donovan, the Phil Scotts. Don't worry about it. Let me twirl around.
I hate you.
We love the theatrics, and that's what we fall for.
Wait, I almost caught the Holy Ghost. I was that close to catching the Holy Ghost. I felt it coming on up, brother. I almost got out the chair, but
I need to bring the tambourine next time.
Hey, hold on a second. Deanna, can you bring me my tambourine?
That is what they do to us time and time again. They use the Christianity and they use it against our politics. And then it throws everybody off. Oh, yes, I'm a Christian, and the Lord told me no matter what this man does to me, he killed my husband, he burned my house down, but I got to turn that other cheek. And so the Lord can accept me. The Lord said you got to help yourself first.
Yes, Lord. Can I get an amen? I'm a witness tonight, Deacon Saadiq. Oh, what are you? Bishop? Deacon?
No, wait. What's Bishop Duke? I'm gonna give him no. Wait. Bishop, just call me Pope. Pope.
What's the grandest of them all?
Pope.
The Pope, yeah.
Pope.
No, you didn't. I should have bought a Honda. Let me quit. Right. My daughter bought me this. I told her when I was in church, I know how to play the tambourine. She said, no, you don't. She ordered me this. I said, it ain't this one. It's the big one. It's the big one. So it's kind of like an inside joke. But I do have a tambourine now, Brother Saadiq. Don't get me started now.
Now, see, when I start my church, I'll be one of the only pastors be playing the bass in there. You got a good bass line to start with.
Right, Tracy. There's a lot of older people see me do that. They be like, ooh, the ground don't open up and swallow whole. You know, I'm just playing. God knows my heart. God has a sense of humor. He made Donovan, didn't he? I'm just playing. He know I be jokey joke. I'm just playing. God, I'm just playing. You know my heart. I'm not serious. Donovan might be serious though.
Yeah, there's a God somewhere.
Yeah.
There's a God, so like coming to America. There's a God somewhere.
Right, Donovan, you're not gonna send me to hell, okay? If there's a hell below, I do not want to go.
Reverend Donovan, he's been my reverend since I was a little boy, and I love him. I believe the children are future. Teach them well and let them lead the way.
All right, sexual chocolate. That boy good. Oh boy, my stomach is hurting. I mean, I'm just saying, Tracy, we know God got a sense of humor. He made men. They some funny looking creatures, especially naked. It's like, put your clothes on. You look so much better with your clothes on. And then in the 80s, they had the nerve to make those trunks, the Speedos with the elephant trunk. It's like, who told y'all we like that? Then it had the little elephant ears on the side. I guess that's where you're supposed. What woman said we like that? It was strange, you know. But yeah, so anyway, Donovan, you have anything else to add to the silliness that you started?
The only thing I want to add is it was a great broadcast tonight, great program tonight. I want to thank our co-hosts. To me, I'm surprised a lot of you guys have not started your own shows and become part of the Black media and get, not only your platform out, but also the message to get all this stuff going out. Because we learn just as much from you guys as you guys are learning from us. So that's a good thing. We try to put a little humor in there and kind of get a little silly, but in all seriousness, we got to look at the numbers at what's happening here. When people are actually talking to you, because we are now in that time. We are now in that time. Another Biden administration will be adverse to Black people. Just tell people if Biden gets in there again, he has no reason to do anything because he's got what he wants and he can't run after that. So these are the things you got to say. But I honestly believe, Demetra, a second Biden term will be catastrophic for the Black community.
Yeah, it'll be the nail in the coffin. You can believe that. And no amount of Holy Ghost or preaching that Donovan can do will revive the Black community, okay? So this time around, we need to make sure that we make the right decision. And Bountiful, you say you're going to go turn off your water. I'm going to turn mine off in a little bit too. I was looking at the weather. It was 30 degrees the last time I looked. It is 29 degrees. So I think we still got like 9 degrees or so before it freezes. But yeah, I'm going to turn the water off and, go to sleep. It says, but if loving the Lord is wrong, then I don't want to be right. We're going to get in trouble. I don't know if y'all saw our podcast from earlier, but it was a hot mess too. Okay. Like I said, the Lord knows my heart. Yes. Your average logical thinker, that's the California me. He knows my heart. I'll just be playing sometimes. I ain't wrapped too tight. I ain't got the sense he gave a cricket. He knows that I mean no harm by any of that. At DJPD, he says, permanent underclass of Biden gets reelected. Well, we
already there. Yeah, we're already there.
Yeah, so only Pamela's way. Just say no to Democratic vote. So anyway, I'm gonna let Donovan go. I know he's waiting to get his big piece of chicken and tend to his mini animals.
Baked this time. Baked.
When is the last time you ate a baked piece of chicken?
About 5 years ago.
Right. So what is this, a New Year's resolution or something?
Hey, I got my seasoning salt. Nothing wrong with it.
Seasoning salt. You need you a woman around. You need to pour a whole bunch of seasoning salt on some dry ass chicken, huh? Tracy says on a serious note, my great grand said, we are from here. She detested the colonizers. She has some sense, as we all should. So anyway, y'all have a great evening. If you're somewhere where it's cold, stay warm. and all of that. Thunder says the current president must not do another term, and we can't allow, and we surely can't be the reason why he stays back in office. Absolutely, I totally agree with you. So anyway, also Pamela is still no meat. Yeah, I've caved in. I eat a little meat every once in a while. But anyway, we love and appreciate y'all. Stay warm and safe. If you're where it's snowing and it doesn't typically snow, or it's cold like it is here, stay off the roads, because there's been quite a few I think I understand fatalities and accidents out here already. So if you ain't got to leave, stay home in the warm confines of your home until this is all over, and then you can be back in the streets. DDPD says, oh, Trump 2024, don't get in trouble now. Anyway, love and appreciate every last one of y'all. Peace.